Chapter 678. Duan Gantai showed a slightly proud expression. The sect is the Wuchang Dao sect, while the two clans are Mai City's Tai clan and Shui clan. They were the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce, the mysterious Yellow Chamber of Commerce, and the unaffiliated Chamber of Commerce. Mai City, just like the Eternal Night City in the Eternal Night domain, has a high status in the entire mysterious Yellow Starland. We are now heading to Mai Starry Sky City. Brother Ning, I've been to the mysterious Yellow Starland before. The 6 most powerful forces in the mysterious Yellow Starland are called 1 sect, 2 families and 3 societies. Duan Gantai explained to Ningqing in detail. Ningqing felt sure that once spatial dislocation tore him apart, Duan Gantai would be the first to turn around and kill him. Ningqing's figure flashed and quickly left the spatial storm and arrived not far from Duan Gantai. Otherwise, that spatial dislocation would have taken away half my life. At that time, even if Brother Duan helped me, I don't think I would be able to go to the Temple of Time. Ningqing did not take out the Starry Sky Will this time. Instead, he brought out a middle-grade Dao artifact airship and followed them. He had been running in the Eternal Night single-file gorge for a whole month, but he still couldn't see the end of it. Not only that, but there were also spatial blade lights and spatial storms constantly blowing around. If it were a normal place, with normal celestial essence and spiritual consciousness, one could easily avoid these blade lights and storms. If it wasn't for Duan Gantai's spiritual consciousness being able to extend further than his spiritual consciousness, then Duan Gantai must have passed through this line gorge before and knew about the location of the spatial dislocation. Ningqing froze. He didn't expect that none to depend on wine was produced in the mysterious Yellow Starland. However, he immediately felt pleasantly surprised. In other words, he had once again returned to the positional plane of the Grand Culmination Starry Sky. As long as he spent a little more time, he could return to Grand Culmination Starry Sky and see Luofei and Xianghua. Ningqing casually replied. Brother Duan is familiar with this place. Since Brother Duan is the host here, of course Brother Duan is in charge of everything. As the two spoke, Duan Gantai landed outside a huge city. The city was enveloped by the multicolored array formation, as if it was floating in the clouds. It was incomparably beautiful, because Ningqing's spiritual consciousness was always in a concentrated state, and could also stretch out to a distance of 100 feet. A sudden appearance of spatial dislocation was immediately caught by his spiritual consciousness. If he rushed over in his current state, he would definitely be torn in half by this spatial dislocation. Not to mention a celestial river body, even a starry sky body might not be able to block this spatial dislocation. Ningqing shook his head and spoke. I don't know, please enlighten me Brother Duan. Ningqing didn't care about Duan Gantai not telling him in advance. If he were in front of Duan Gantai, he would not have greeted Duan Gantai. What Ningqing cared about was why Duan Gantai could still move forward at such a high speed. Senior Water advanced to the Eternal Realm. Duan Gantai spoke up in surprise. As soon as Ningqing slowed down, Duan Gantai gave out a sigh in his heart. This Ningqing was definitely the most formidable opponent in his life. He had once crossed the single-line gorge, so he knew about the location of the spatial dislocation. Although Ningqing was following behind him, even with such speed, Ningqing still managed to avoid the spatial dislocation a moment ago. From this, one could see just how powerful Ningqing was. Another month later, a huge starland appeared in front of Ningqing. Compared to the Eternal Night domain, this starland was a true starry sky continent. The entire starland didn't have the same gray color as the Eternal Night domain. Instead, it had layers upon layers of green. Duan Gantai waved his hand. I didn't come out of the mysterious Yellow Starland. I lived in the mysterious Yellow Starland for a while, and I even had a relationship with Mai City's Shui clan. For some reason, the elders of the Shui clan once promised me that as long as I advanced to the heaven-seated realm, they would marry the first flower of the Shui clan, Shui Wuchang, to me. However, the premise was that I had to marry into the Shui clan. The only thing worth celebrating was that Ningqing's spiritual consciousness could now sweep out to a range of nearly 100 feet. Although this place was dangerous, it wasn't completely useless. At least, it could help him temper his spiritual consciousness. Did Brother Duan come out of the mysterious Yellow Star Land? Ningqing asked casually. He cared a lot about this answer. If Duan Gantai came out of the mysterious Yellow Star Land, then he would have to be careful. This place was Duan Gantai's lair. It would be strange if he followed Duan Gantai. Duan Gantai heard Ning Cheng's sarcasm and gave a dry laugh. Brother Ning, let's go to the mysterious Yellow Star Land to prepare, and then head to the Temple of Time. What do you think? Knowing that Ning Cheng had become cautious, and that the spatial dislocations no longer posed a threat to Ning Cheng, Duan Gantai decided to slow down. Okay, then I'll go with Brother Duan to see the world, Ning Cheng said with a smile. 2 months later, Ning Cheng's surroundings turned empty, and a spatial wind edge blasted over. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness also loosened up, and a large area of the void around him appeared within his spiritual consciousness. After entering the Eternal Night Single-File Gorge, Ning Cheng realized that the legend Song Chenghua spoke about was not just nonsense. If one couldn't use their spiritual consciousness and celestial essence in this place, one would definitely be squeezed in here. Brother Ning, since Senior Shui Guangxi has reached the Eternal Realm, I must go and congratulate him. Does Brother Ning want to come with me? I suggest that Brother Ning come with me. There shouldn't be anything wrong with this matter. Duan Gantai spoke up again. Duan Gantai chuckled and said, even if I didn't say it, as long as you reach my city, you would know about it immediately. In the entire mysterious Yellow Star Land, the most famous thing is a kind of wine called None to Depend On. The single-file gorge felt like a bottomless pit, with no end in sight. Although Ning Cheng could cultivate while traveling, he didn't dare to do so in this single-file gorge. Not only because he couldn't pass through the single-file gorge, but also because he had a ticking time bomb, Duan Gantai, with him. Ning Cheng's forehead was filled with black lines. Why did this surnamed Duan go around flirting with women? No, it should be more accurate to say that he went around carrying out activities as a son-in-law. Out of the single-file gorge, Ning Cheng felt happy in his heart. He had definitely left the single-file gorge. Duan Gantai's words made Ning Cheng understand that this fellow had definitely come to the mysterious Yellow Star Land. At the same time, he felt even more wary of Duan Gantai. This fellow had clearly escaped the spatial dislocation just now, yet he didn't give him any warning in advance. Apparently, this fellow wanted to see the spatial dislocation tear him in half. If he hadn't learned from Song Chenghua that the Eternal Night Single-File Gorge could be used to leave, Ning Cheng would have thought that the single-file gorge was a trap set up by Duan Gantai. Another half a year passed by, but Ning Cheng still hadn't passed through the single-file gorge. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. Unfortunately, he couldn't fully refine the Starry Sky Wheel. If he could fully refine the Starry Sky Wheel, he could transform the Starry Sky Wheel into a specific shape, and then control the Starry Sky Wheel to pass through the single-file gorge. However, it wasn't an ordinary place. Ning Cheng's Starry Sky spiritual consciousness could only spread out to about 300 feet after a month. Because of the severe suppression of his spiritual consciousness, Ning Cheng felt even more wary of Duan Gantai. Duan Gantai seemed to be more comfortable than him, which showed that this fellow's spiritual consciousness wasn't any worse than his own. In fact, it might even be stronger. Then this little brother will lead the way. Duan Gantai smiled and brought out a high-grade Dao artifact airship before quickly flying away. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up. I'll have to ask Brother Duan. Speaking until here, Duan Gantai deliberately stopped and asked, Brother Ning, do you know what the most famous thing in the mysterious Yellow Star Land is? Ning Cheng also saw a huge flag erected on the other side of the city gate. The flag read, Congratulations to my city's Senior Shui Guangxi for opening the Eternal Path and achieving the Supreme Grand Dao. Fellow Taoists from all over the mysterious Yellow Star Land will come to the Shui clan's main hall to congratulate Eternal Starry Sky Emperor Shui Guangxi. To celebrate the grand ceremony. The 3 words My City were written above the city gate. On one side of the city wall's array formation was a huge stone stele with 12 words engraved on it. Often apart, not abandoning the heart, looking at the distant stars, not relying on each other. Facing the spatial blade lights and storms within the single-file gorge, even if an ordinary heaven-seated cultivator could use their spiritual consciousness and celestial essence, They would still suffer serious injuries if they walked inside for a long time. Ningqing looked at Duan Gantai through the connecting spirit silk and found that he didn't look injured at all. From this, he understood that Duan Gantai wasn't a body-forging cultivator and had a way to protect himself from injury. Although he managed to avoid the spatial dislocation, Ningqing still broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, he could now release his spiritual consciousness to a range of about 100 feet. Otherwise, he would have never escaped. Ningqing subconsciously slowed down. With his original speed, if he encountered another spatial dislocation, it would be extremely dangerous. In a hurry, Ningqing didn't care about anything else and forcibly twisted his body to avoid the spatial dislocation. A month later, standing on the deck of the Dao artifact airship, Ningqing could already see the starry sky. Although he couldn't be sure if this was the positional plane of the grand culmination starry sky, Ningqing knew that he had truly left the crack between positional planes and the interface. Ningqing nodded with a smile, but he felt disdain in his heart. You wouldn't do such a thing because people don't know what you have on you, right? He felt sure that Duan Gantai had some kind of treasure on him. As for what kind of treasure it was, as long as Duan Gantai didn't reveal it, no one would know about it. Brother Ning, this is the mysterious yellow starland. It's a separate starland, separate from the other starry sky mainlands. I'll take you to get an identity card for this starland. Seeing Ningqing frowning, Duan Gantai quickly said, Brother Ning, don't overthink it. The Shui clan is upright, completely different from the Su clan. He would never covet the things that you and I have. Duan Gantai didn't notice Ningqing's expression and continued, None to depend on wine is the premier treasure of the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce. All the none to depend on wine in the starry sky comes from the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce. However, this wine is very rare and ordinary people can't even buy it. But if Brother Ning wants it, I can help you buy some. The mysterious yellow starland's identity jade cards were almost the same as the other starlands. As Ningqing expected, Duan Gantai didn't need to apply for an identity card at all, and directly entered the mysterious yellow starland with Ningqing. Brother Ning really makes this little brother admire you. This little brother encountered several crises along the way and almost died. But Brother Ning easily passed through the eternal night single-file gorge. Duan Gantai's voice came from a distance. He had already come out of the spatial wind blades. Chapter 679. In the eternal night domain, Ningqing had also visited the Su clan. Now that he was standing in front of the Shui family's territory, he only had one thought in his heart. The difference between the Shui clan and the Su clan of the eternal night domain was akin to the difference between a thatched cottage and the Jinmao building. Maui City's Shui family. These words completely set off the momentum of the Shui family. Fusing with the Shui family's defensive array, not only was it elegant, but it was also incomparably majestic. Brother Ning, I plan to send 100,000 permanent essence pills. I wonder what you plan to send? You can't send too little. Otherwise you won't be able to enter the main hall. Duan Gantai stood in front of the Shui family's entrance and whispered. Ningqing looked at Duan Gantai in disbelief. Brother Duan, aren't you giving too much? 100,000 permanent essence pills? Duan Gantai spoke up with a straight face. It's not much. In addition to sending 100,000 perpetual moon pills, I also intend to send that half of the starry sky essence Qi vein. Which one of the Shui family's guests wasn't an overlord? If I don't give enough, I probably won't even be able to enter the main hall. Furthermore, I have some relationship with the Shui family. Ningqing sneered in his heart. You, Duan Gantai, are Shui clan's son-in-law, but I, Ningqing, am not. Although he felt disdain in his heart, he still spoke with a calm expression. Brother Duan, I am a poor man. You know that I do not have so many things to give. I intend to give you 1,000,000 perpetual moon pills. Ningqing might not have a lot of things, but he had a lot of perpetual moon pills. However, his perpetual moon pills did not come out of nowhere. Taking out 1,000,000 perpetual moon pills, Ningqing felt that it was more than enough. He had nothing to do with the Shui clan, and just wanted to participate in the grand ceremony of an eternal-level starry sky emperor. As for going to the main hall or not, he didn't care about it at all. Brother Ning, if you only sent 1,000,000 perpetual moon pills, Maybe you wouldn't even be able to enter the Shui clan's gate. Duan Gantai felt a little speechless. Not only did this fellow surnamed Ning turn out to be extremely cunning, but he also turned out to be so stingy. It doesn't matter, then I won't go in, I'll wait for you outside. Ning Qing spoke as if nothing had happened. He didn't believe that Duan Gantai would make a loss. Moreover, Duan Gantai must have a purpose for giving away so many things. He had no such thoughts. He himself lacked cultivation resources, so how could he give them to others? Duan Gantai frowned. Brother Ning, it's not that this little brother wants you to give gifts. It's just that we're connected by the connecting divine thread, so it's better if we're in an open space. Not to mention that there were array formations everywhere, there were also many powerful cultivators here. The shielding array formations would definitely affect the connecting spirit threads. What's more, if a powerful cultivator were to discover our connecting divine threads, they might just casually cut them off. It's not a big deal that we can't contact each other after the divine thread is severed, but it's very likely that we'll be injured by the backlash. Therefore, in Mai City, we should not be too far away from each other. After hesitating for a while, Duan Gantai carefully spoke up. Brother Ning, I do have an idea, but it would inconvenience you. Pretend to be my butler, and follow me in. That way, you won't have to give me any gifts. Ning Qing knew that Duan Gantai's words sounded nice. What butler? To put it bluntly, he just wanted to pretend to be Duan Gantai's attendant. However, he didn't care at all. He casually said, so be it. I don't care. He didn't even have enough cultivation resources for himself. Therefore, it was impossible for him to take out 100,000 permanent essence pills and half a starry sky essence chi vein as gifts. Besides, he couldn't take out 100,000 permanent essence pills. Ning Cheng and Duan Gantai had just finished discussing when two slender figures walked past in front of them. They were two female cultivators. The female cultivator on the left wore a light blue robe and didn't have a celestial wheel. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness casually swept out and suddenly felt shocked. He couldn't see through this female cultivator's cultivation. The female cultivator on the right also didn't have a celestial wheel. When Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the female cultivator on the right wearing a light blue robe, he immediately froze. This female cultivator's back looked very familiar. Ning Cheng was just about to stretch out his spiritual consciousness to check the appearance of this female cultivator in the light blue robe, when a powerful spiritual consciousness pressed down on him. A burst of chest tightness filled his heart. Ning Cheng quickly retracted his spiritual consciousness and took a few steps back. Seeing Ning Cheng retreating, the spiritual consciousness didn't follow him. Ning Cheng felt secretly horrified. He knew that this spiritual consciousness came from the blue-robed female cultivator. This blue-robed female cultivator had a very powerful cultivation. Moreover, Ning Cheng felt sure that this female cultivator had a spiritual consciousness cultivation method, which was even more powerful than his own spiritual consciousness cultivation method. Duan Gantai understood at a glance that Ning Cheng had suffered a loss. He smiled from the side and said, Brother Ning, everyone here is a powerhouse. Don't sweep out with your spiritual consciousness. Even if you see a beautiful female cultivator, don't sweep around. Otherwise hee. As Duan Gantai spoke, he had already walked towards the Shui clan's huge gate. Seeing this, Ning Cheng could only follow. Butterfly Mountain's Duan Gantai sends a congratulatory gift of 100,000 permanent essence pills. Half a starry sky essence spirit vein. Congratulations. The cultivator at the gate felt shocked by Duan Gantai's generosity. This gift was a bit too generous. If everyone gave gifts like Duan Gantai, then the Shui clan would have made a fortune. Ning Cheng couldn't help but sigh at Duan Gantai's generosity. He guessed that Duan Gantai was much richer than him. But even so, Duan Gantai was too generous. So generous that it made him wonder if this Duan Gantai in front of him was the same person he knew. The grandeur of this gift not only surprised the cultivator at the gate, but even the cultivators who gave gifts in front of him turned around and looked at Duan Gantai. Haha, nephew Duan, it's been a few decades since we last met. Eh. A burst of laughter could be heard. But before he could finish, he exclaimed in surprise. Nephew Duan, you've really advanced to the heaven-seated realm. Good. I didn't misjudge you. It looks like our Shui clan is going to have a double celebration. Ning Cheng had already seen the person who came. It was a middle-aged cultivator with a white face and looked very handsome. His cultivation was at the early stage heaven-seeded realm. Duan Gantai quickly bowed and said, Duan Gantai greets uncle. It's been a few decades, and uncle's cultivation has improved by a level. Haha Gantai, don't be so polite with me. We'll soon be a family. When it comes to cultivation, who can compare to nephew Gantai? The middle-aged cultivator grabbed Duan Gantai's hand with a happy expression. Ning Cheng, on seeing this middle-aged man holding Duan Gantai's hand so enthusiastically, felt a chill in his heart. Was this the sign of good friends? Duan Gantai did not forget about Ning Cheng and quickly pointed to Ning Cheng and said, Uncle, this is nephew's housekeeper. Steward Ning, this is my elder, Uncle Shui Kaiqiao. He's also the father of junior apprentice sister Shui Wuchang. Ning Cheng immediately understood. Shui Wuchang was the first flower of the Shui clan. And it turned out that she was Shui Caiqiao's daughter. Most likely, Shui Kaiqiao had taken a fancy to Duan Gantai and wanted to marry his daughter to Duan Gantai. Ning Cheng greets senior Shui. Ning Cheng felt a little sick in his heart. He was also in the heaven-seeded realm. And this Shui Kaiqiao was also in the heaven-seeded realm. But even his cultivation wasn't as high as his. Moreover, he had to address Shui Kaiqiao as senior, which made him feel uncomfortable. Shui Kaiqiao saw the disordered celestial wheels behind Ning Cheng and estimated that he was also in the half-step heaven-seeded realm. Plus, Ning Cheng was Duan Gantai's servant, so Shui Kaiqiao didn't care about it at all. He just nodded casually before speaking to Duan Gantai with enthusiasm again. Gantai, you go to the guest hall first. After the patriarch's promotion ceremony, come with me to see Wuchang. Okay, Gantai obeys. Duan Gantai showed even more respect than a turtle's grandson. Ning Cheng secretly felt speechless. Thinking back to Duan Gantai's murderous look towards the Su clan, he couldn't help but think that this Duan Gantai truly was a good actor. Under the guidance of the Shui clan's welcoming cultivator, Ning Cheng and Duan Gantai entered the Shui clan's guest hall. The guest hall was already filled with cultivators. Although these cultivators did not deliberately release their imposing auras, Ning Cheng could still feel it the moment he entered. However, he was now a heaven-seeded powerhouse. Although he could feel the imposing auras, it didn't affect him in the slightest. Ning Cheng knew that those who could enter this place were all overlords. Therefore, he didn't sweep out with his spiritual consciousness. He just casually glanced around with his eyes, and when he saw the two female cultivators again, he suddenly froze. No wonder he felt a bit familiar with that female cultivator in a light blue robe. It turned out to be Tian Muwen. Wasn't Tian Muwen on Earth? How did she come here? What the hell was going on? Not only did she come here, but she also advanced to the celestial Shatterer realm without a celestial wheel. Wasn't this a bit too powerful? Ning Cheng immediately thought of the female cultivator in a light blue robe beside Tian Muwen. Tian Muwen advancing to the celestial Shatterer realm definitely had something to do with this female cultivator. Tian Muwen kept her head down, and no one knew what she was thinking. When Ning Cheng saw her, she didn't see Ning Cheng. Chapter 680. After that, he smiled and cupped his fists towards the rest of the cultivators in the guest hall. Today is the day I, Shui Guangxi, advance to the eternal starry sky emperor realm. Many thanks to all friends for coming to my Shui clan. Originally, the grand ceremony would have taken a long time, but since Dao Friend Yi needed to exchange things, I, Shui Guangxi, decided to hold the exchange before the grand ceremony. I can't delay Dao Friend Ye's matters because of me. If Shen Qingyu looked like a landscape painting, then this female cultivator looked like a lotus rising from the clear water. Moreover, this female cultivator looked like a natural sculpture with a flawless face without any trace of artificiality. Her skin was white and slightly ruddy, and she looked like a young girl in her late 20s. His eyes were bright and innocent. It was as if even the ugliest thing would melt under his gaze. Shui clan's disciples don't understand the rules and offended Dao Friend. I asked Dao Friend to not lower yourself to their level. This old man is Shui Guangxi. I haven't asked for Dao Friend's name yet. The blonde horse-faced cultivator spoke with respect towards the blue-robed female cultivator. Bursts of applause rang out. and many of the younger cultivators felt eager to give it a try. Among the cultivators who came here, which one of them was not a powerhouse who ruled over a region? Naturally, these powerhouses did not come alone. Some brought their own juniors, while others directly brought their clan's juniors. Initially, Ningqing did not care about this blue-robed female cultivator, but when Ningqing's gaze fell on this female cultivator's face, a sense of amazement welled up in his heart. What a beautiful woman! In his impression, only Shen Qinyu's appearance could compare to her. This person was finished. That was the unanimous opinion of everyone present. Even Ningqing felt that the person who interrupted them was finished. No one could tolerate such a thing, not to mention my city's famous Shui clan. Shui Wuchang reached out and took the jade box and casually opened it to have a look. When she saw the contents of the jade box, her expression changed slightly, and immediately showed a happy look. She bowed slightly to the silver-robed male cultivator and said, "Many thanks, elder brother Ruan. But such a precious thing." The blue-robed female cultivator showed a slight frown, and apparently understood the reason behind it. She cupped her fists and said, "Dao friend, because I was a bit impatient, I acted rashly just now. Let's wait until after Dao friend's ceremony before holding the exchange." Apparently, the two heaven-seated cultivators who had attacked the blue-robed female cultivator had been blasted away by the blue-robed female cultivator in just a moment. The people around them couldn't even see how this blue-robed female cultivator did it. Ningqing looked at Duan Gantai sitting in front of him. Since this kid spent so much money on gifts, he must have some ulterior motives. Ningqing didn't expect that this Shui clan's cultivator would choose a husband for Shui Wuchang, and not Duan Gantai, who knew how angry this brat would be when he found out that he was drawing water with a sieve. When Ningqing saw that the one who spoke was the young female cultivator beside Tian Muwan, he was slightly surprised. Although he could not see through this female cultivator's cultivation, he knew that this female cultivator was not simple. A female cultivator without a celestial wheel, yet possessing such a powerful cultivation. According to Zhongli Baiqi, if she did not cultivate a primal chaos cultivation method, then the source of her cultivation method was completely different from this positional plane. Wait. Everyone knew that this heaven-seated cultivator was about to talk about the eternal Starry Sky Emperor's grand ceremony. But no one expected that this heaven-seated cultivator's words would be interrupted at this time. Ningqing naturally understood that Shui Guangxi's words of weakness were not his original intention. This blue-robed female cultivator most likely had offended him. In this case, even if this blue-robed female cultivator wanted something, no one would dare to take it out for a trade, unless that person was powerful enough to not fear the Shui clan's revenge. Shen Qinyu's appearance was the most beautiful woman Ningqing had ever seen. However, when he first saw Shen Qinyu, what appeared in front of his eyes was not Shen Qinyu's beauty, but a landscape painting and the most beautiful song. A powerful imposing aura pressed down on Ningqing. Ningqing's celestial origin domain slightly blocked off this imposing aura. Ningqing's gaze then fell on the cultivator who had just arrived. This cultivator had a head full of blonde hair, and was over 2 meters tall. He had a long horse-like face, which people would remember at a glance. Regardless of this female cultivator's strength, Ningqing did not agree with her way of doing things. If it were him, he would definitely not use such a radical approach. He would wait until Shui Guangxi's eternal Starry Sky Emperor's grand ceremony before discussing the exchange. Under normal circumstances, this kind of grand ceremony would definitely have some trading activities between cultivators, so there was no need to rush it. What courage! A mere woman dares to be rude to Shui clan's guest hall. Get the hell out of here. The two heaven-seated cultivators standing next to the guest hall's master's platform rushed up almost at the same time. Looking at their actions, they wanted to grab this blue-robed female cultivator and throw her out. Not to mention that Shui Wuchang herself was an excellent and beautiful genius cultivator. Even if she could form a relationship with the Shui clan, it would still be something to look forward to. Did this Duan Gantai really think that he was a master? Ningqing gave a cold snort. Brother Duan, my legs are very precious, and I won't easily help people run away. Ningqing secretly thought that this female cultivator surnamed Yu was quite smart. The things she wanted must have been unique, which is why she couldn't even buy them in ordinary merchant houses. As for Shui Guangxi's Eternal Starry Sky Emperor's grand ceremony, only the most powerful people in the entire mysterious yellow starland would attend. Even if one couldn't buy things from merchant houses, one might not necessarily not be able to buy them from these people. Not knowing if it was because of the fear of the blue-robed female cultivator surnamed Yi. The dance didn't last long before Shui Guangxi winked at the cultivator presiding over the ceremony. Ningqing quickly retracted his gaze, and found that the rest of the cultivators around him also seemed to be attracted by the female cultivator's appearance in the light blue robe. Shui Guangxi pondered over it for a moment before nodding. Many thanks, Dao friend Yi. Junior apprentice Sister Wuchang, this is a little thing I got at an auction. I'll give it to junior apprentice Sister Wuchang. A silver-robed man stood up and handed the jade box in his hand to the attendant next to him. The attendant quickly held the jade box with both hands, and respectfully brought it to Shui Wuchang. Humph! The female cultivator gave a cold snort. It seemed that she still felt dissatisfied with the beating. At this moment, the entire hall came to a standstill. Something that even eternal cultivators couldn't do. Yet this female cultivator did it with just a raise of her hand. The only possibility was that this female cultivator's cultivation far surpassed that of an eternal cultivator. No wonder she dared to speak like that. It was because of her strength. Beating up a member of Shui clan at the Shui clan's Eternal Starry Sky Emperor ceremony meant that this matter had turned into a big deal. However, the several Shui clan cultivators only dared to watch from afar, and didn't dare to come forward. At this moment, everyone's eyes focused on the person who interrupted the Shui clan's heaven-seated cultivator. This was the Shui clan's Starry Sky Emperor's advancement ceremony. Interrupting the announcement of the advancement ceremony under such circumstances was simply a slap in the face. Rather than a slap in the face, it was more like a direct provocation. So that's how it is. It's an honor for my Shui clan that Dao friend Yi can grace my Shui clan with her presence. Shui Guangxi smiled and cupped his fists. His words were extremely polite, without even a shred of dissatisfaction. But what surprised Ningqing even more was that he felt an inexplicable immortalization coming from this female cultivator. In Ningqing's impression, immortals were like ancient Chinese legends. But now that he started cultivating and became a real Starry Sky cultivator, he realized that Starry Sky cultivators and the legendary immortals were two completely different things. But now he felt that this female cultivator was an immortal for no reason at all. As the cultivator finished speaking, a woman in a red robe, accompanied by Shui Kaiqiao, walked out. Bang bang. Boom. Two shadows flashed, followed by a series of muffled sounds. The cultivators in the guest hall, like Ningqing, looked at the two big holes in the wall of the hall in shock. The blue-robed female cultivator nodded. Fellow Shui said that my surname is Yi, and that I came to the mysterious yellow starland by mistake. Today, I want to take advantage of fellow Shui's eternal hall to purchase two things. Shui Guangxi stepped forward and resolved the conflict invisibly. Then, a variety of Starry Sky spirit fruits, spirit wine, and flowing water were brought out. In the middle of the hall, all the female cultivators were dancing. At least, it looked like a happy and harmonious scene, without even the slightest bit of inappropriateness. Ningqing couldn't help but praise Shui Wuchang on seeing her. This woman was in no way inferior to Tian Muwen. Moreover, her delicate appearance gave her a unique charm that made people unable to look away. However, Ningqing felt that this female cultivator named Shui Wuchang was a bit pretentious. At this moment, Ningqing once again saw the beautiful face of this blue-robed female cultivator. But her beauty and Shen Qinyu's beauty were two completely different types. A heaven-seated cultivator wearing a luxurious robe walked up to the main stage of the guest hall with a smile on his face. He then gave a cultivator's salute to all the guests and spoke. Honorable friends, honorable guests. Retreat. A stern voice sounded out, and the cowering Shui clan cultivators quickly retreated without a trace. Duan Gantai suddenly whispered, Brother Ning, you have to help me deliver something. Even an eternal cultivator couldn't blow away two heaven-seated cultivators in such a hurry, right? Taking a step back, even if they were blown away, the hall's defensive array formations weren't just for show. How could they blow up the walls of the hall? As for saying that this female cultivator cultivated a trashy cultivation method, Ningcheng didn't even think about it. If a trashy cultivation method could be cultivated to the point where he couldn't see through it, then this trashy cultivation method was just too powerful. The silver-robed man smiled and spoke up in front of Shui Wuchang. This little thing isn't worth mentioning. If junior apprentice sister Wuchang doesn't accept it, then it would mean that you look down on me, Ruanqi. The cultivator immediately stood up and waved all the dancing female cultivators away before speaking. Today is a joyous day for my Shui clan's patriarch to advance to the eternal starry sky emperor realm. But today is not the only joyous occasion for my Shui clan. On this joyous day, countless starry sky elites have arrived. My Shui clan has decided to choose a husband for Wuchang to travel the starry sky side by side with her in the future. He had just wondered about the identity of this cultivator who brought Tian Muwen here. And now this person had taken the initiative to stand up. Shui Wuchang's cultivation was at the full circle of heaven's mandate realm, but the celestial wheels behind her were very clear. From this, it could be seen that not only did she have amazing potential, but she also had decent strength. Ningcheng finally understood. No wonder this person had such an imposing aura. It turned out that this person was Shui clan's patriarch, Shui Guangxi, the one who had just advanced to the eternal realm. Chapter 681. With Ruanqi taking the lead, some of the cultivators who had thoughts about Shui Wuchang also started to send gifts. Seeing Ningcheng ignore him, Duan Gantai suddenly sent a sound transmission to Ningcheng. Brother Ning, the third key to the time wilderness is on Shui Wuchang. After Duan Gantai uttered such an inexplicable sentence, there was no other explanation. After Ningcheng heard this sentence, he finally understood. No wonder Duan Gantai came here before going to the Temple of Time. This fellow really didn't get up early without benefits. If it weren't for the perpetual moontime key on Shui Wuchang, why would this fellow send such a big gift? Moreover, Ningcheng's possession of the perpetual moontime key definitely had something to do with the Temple of Time. Otherwise, with Duan Gantai's character, he would have told him in advance and even pulled him in when sending the gifts. Most likely, Duan Gantai didn't expect that Shui Kaiqiao would not do anything after receiving the gifts. Instead, he pushed his daughter out for marriage. This would not only win an ally for the Shui clan, but it would also allow his daughter to receive many more gifts. However, Ningcheng also admired Duan Gantai's methods. This fellow could even find out that Shui Wuchang had the third key. It truly was an amazing feat initially. Ningcheng wanted Duan Gantai to pay a large sum of permanent essence pills before agreeing to help. But after learning that Shui Wuchang had the perpetual moontime key, he immediately dispelled the idea. The third perpetual moontime key could only appear on him or Duan Gantai. It could never be taken away by others. Among the cultivators here, which one of them was simple? Which one of them didn't have a powerhouse backing them? Once someone else took away the perpetual moontime key, he and Duan Gantai would have to discuss it with that person. If the other party was like the two of them and didn't have a backer, it would be fine. But if the other party had a powerful backer, once they leaked the secret of the perpetual moontime key, many eternal-level powerhouses would hunt them down. Bring it over. Ningcheng didn't continue to talk about the reward with Duan Gantai. It was something that involved his own interests. His sunset's twilight couldn't suppress opponents much stronger than him. Therefore, he hoped that the Temple of Time could help his sunset's twilight reach a higher level. Therefore, he naturally didn't want the perpetual moontime key to fall into someone else's hands. Previously, Ningcheng had been standing behind Duan Gantai. Plus, after wandering in the void for so long, his temperament had already changed. Tian Muwen didn't dare to sweep out with her spiritual consciousness, so she didn't notice Ningcheng. Now that Ningcheng came out with Duan Gantai's jade box, Tian Muwen immediately saw it. She suddenly stood up, her eyes red as she muttered to herself. Why am I seeing you again? Why is it so clear? Tian Muwen knew that Ningcheng could cultivate, but she absolutely did not believe that Ningcheng could come to this place. The only reason they could appear in the mysterious yellow starland was that when they used the opening Heaven Child talisman, they encountered a turbulent flow of laws and ended up here by mistake. But how could Ningqing come here? She didn't know before, but now she knew what kind of existence the heaven-opening talisman was. Muwen, is he the Ning Xiaoqing that you like? How could he have come here from Earth? It's absolutely impossible. The blue-robed female cultivator stopped Tian Muwen from standing up and walking forward. Tian Muwen suddenly sobered up and wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. However, Ningqing still stood in front of her. This time it wasn't an illusion. It's him, it's really him. Tian Muwen stared at Ningqing without blinking. She felt sure that she wasn't mistaken this time. Although Ningqing had a lot more beard on his face and gave off of vicissitudes of life, she knew that this was Ningqing. By this time, Ningqing had already walked up to Shui Wuchang and handed over the jade box in his hand. This is a celestial river essence Qi King pill. I hope junior apprentice Sister Wuchang doesn't dislike it. Ningqing didn't specifically say who sent this essence Qi King pill, but no one cared about Ningqing's words at this time. Who didn't know about the preciousness of a celestial river essence Qi King pill? This was not refined at all, and there was only one in each natural pill pond. Only a pill pond with a complete starry sky essence Qi vein could produce it. Otherwise, even a natural pill pond wouldn't produce an essence Qi King pill. Even an eternal level expert wouldn't casually give out a celestial river essence Qi King pill. Therefore, everyone felt shocked by Duan Gantai's generosity. Shui Wuchang also felt shocked, but she quickly reacted and took the jade box from Ningqing's hands with both hands. Thank you, many thanks. While handing the jade box to Shui Wuchang, Ningqing's fingers seemed to have inadvertently slipped through Shui Wuchang's fingers. Shui Wuchang felt so excited that she repeatedly thanked Ningqing. She had already reached the full circle of Heaven's Mandate realm. And with this celestial river essence Qi King pill, she could almost assuredly advance to the heaven-seated realm. With such a gift, she didn't even have the courage to be polite. Duan Gantai suddenly stood up and cupped his fists towards Shui Wuchang with a smile. Junior apprentice Sister Wuchang, I obtained this celestial river essence Qi King pill from a void maelstrom not long ago. I will now give it to junior apprentice Sister Wuchang. I hope that junior apprentice Sister Wuchang can advance to the heaven-seated realm soon. After saying this, Duan Gantai's expression changed slightly, and he spoke to Ningqing with a slightly stern tone. Ningqing, hurry up and stand aside. Don't disturb junior apprentice Sister Wuchang. Ningqing snickered in his heart. Duan Gantai's words obviously meant to show his shrewdness. Just like in the Su clan, this sentence was meant for the Shui clan's powerhouses to hear. Of course, this fellow also wanted to use this as an excuse to suppress him. Seeing Ningqing really standing behind Duan Gantai, without even a place to sit, Tian Muwen's nose turned even more sour. No one knew Ningqing's pride better than her. Even someone as prideful as her, Ningqing didn't want to explain anything to her. But now he actually humbly stood behind this ugly male cultivator. How much grievance did he have to suffer? Could he really abandon everything for the sake of cultivation? Could he even throw away his pride? He clearly saw her, but he didn't come over to say hello. Was it because he was afraid of losing face? Or because he didn't dare to come over and speak? She suddenly felt an impulse in her heart to help Ningqing once. No matter how Ningqing came here, she wanted to help Ningqing. Big sister, I think. Before Tian Muwen could finish her words, the blue-robed female cultivator gave out a sigh and said, Muwen, if this heartless man really is the one you like, I think we should just let it go. Maybe he feels that he's living a good life. Besides, if we can't find what we need right now, let alone help others, alas. Tian Muwen, on hearing the blue-robed female cultivator's words, lowered her head and didn't speak again. Seeing Tian Muwen silent, the blue-robed female cultivator asked again, Muwen, do you really like him? Tian Muwen looked at Ningqing in a daze and murmured, I. She subconsciously clenched the pearl hair clip hanging from her chest. The pearl hair clip had a red exterior, and it was the same pearl hair clip that she had used to hurt Ningqing. Because of this pearl hair clip, she and Ningqing had parted ways. To find this pearl hair clip, she had even turned over the sewers at the school's entrance. To find this pearl hair clip, she had to use her white hands to dig through the mud for the first time. She managed to find the pearl hair clip, but after washing it, it could no longer return to its original white color. She clearly remembered that she had cried at that time. She felt that the pearl hair clip was not tarnished by the mud, but rather it was tarnished by her. Thinking of Ning Cheng who had already died, as well as Ning Cheng's younger sister's angry and sorrowful curses, that night she used a blade to cut her wrist. However, she did not die. After the blood on her wrist stained the pearl hair clip, it solidified once again. From that day on, she felt that she had changed. She was no longer the Tian Muwen of the past. She seemed to have sealed her first love. It was not until she saw Ning Cheng again and knew that Ning Cheng had not died that she realized that her first love had ended. However, she had always carried this pearl hair clip with her, until Ning Cheng saved her for the second time. That was the last time she went to Ning Cheng even though she knew that she would die. At that time, she realized that although her first love could be hidden and sealed, it would never disappear, nor would it ever end. Knowing that Ning Cheng had saved her once again, she finally understood that regardless of whether she had sealed her first love or not, she had fallen in love with this person for the second time. Tian Muwen looked at Ning Cheng blankly. When she didn't see him, she kept thinking about what he was doing. Would they meet again one day? But now that she saw him, she didn't know what to say. She didn't know what she should do. Should we not meet? This was the third time that this sentence had come to her mind. Many thanks for the love from the various Dao friends, and the precious gifts for my daughter. It's just that there are so many outstanding geniuses here that even I feel dazzled. Shui Kaiqiao got a wink from Shui Guangxi and immediately stood up. Shui Guangxi chuckled. Kaiqiao is right. But after all, Wu Cheng is the one choosing her husband. Let's listen to Wu Cheng's opinion. Shui Wu Cheng had already put away the Celestial River Essence Qi King pill. She took the initiative to walk up to Duan Gantai and spoke softly. Wu Cheng thanks Big Brother Duan for the generous gift. Duan Gantai chuckled. Junior apprentice Sister Wu Cheng, you don't have to be so polite. I don't have many things, but I have a lot of cultivation resources. If Junior apprentice Sister Wu Cheng lacks cultivation resources, feel free to look for me. I promise to help you properly. Shui Wu Cheng showed a faint smile and thanked them again. Then she gave a cultivator's salute and spoke with a soft voice. Choosing a husband for me has delayed everyone for a long time, and Wu Cheng feels sorry about it. It's just that my husband is Wu Cheng's lifelong companion, so Wu Cheng has to be cautious. To not delay the time of the seniors, senior apprentice brothers and senior apprentice sisters, it's better to hold the exchange meeting first. After the exchange meeting, if senior apprentice brothers and senior apprentice brothers find Wu Cheng pleasing to the eye, please come to the back residence for a chat. The cultivators who had designs on Shui Wu Cheng finally felt relieved. They feared that Duan Gantai's gift would be too powerful, leaving them with no chance to continue competing. Fortunately, Shui Wu Cheng didn't choose Duan Gantai immediately. Instead, she invited everyone to the back residence. Why would she go to the back residence? Even a fool could guess that Shui Wu Cheng wanted to choose her husband in the back residence. Chapter 682. When Tian Muwen's gaze fell on him, Ning Cheng understood that Tian Muwen had recognized him. Although he wanted to ask how Tian Muwen came here, Ning Cheng also knew that there was an insurmountable gap between him and Tian Muwen. As for how Tian Muwen came here, it was definitely one of the most secretive things, and it was not appropriate for him to ask about it. He looked up at Tian Muwen, and saw Tian Muwen staring at him. She did not flinch under his gaze and continued to stare at him, but with a bit more pity and longing. Ning Cheng guessed that Tian Muwen sympathized with him, and sighed in his heart. He then turned his gaze to the blue-robed female cultivator beside her. Tian Muwen lived on Earth. Did this female cultivator bring her here? The blue-robed female cultivator frowned a little, and Ning Cheng understood that she was starting to feel impatient. Shui Guangxi seemed to have sensed the impatience of the blue-robed female cultivator, and stood up after Shui Wu Cheng stepped back. Now let's start the item exchange. First, I would like to invite Dao Friend Yi to show off her things. No one would refuse an item exchange of this level. Everyone here was a powerhouse, and the things they brought out would not be too bad. It was a rare opportunity to participate in this kind of item exchange. As Shui Guangxi's words fell, everyone immediately stared at the blue-robed female cultivator. This female cultivator was not only beautiful, but her cultivation was also unfathomable. If an ordinary cultivator dared to teach a lesson to two heaven-seated cultivators from the Shui clan in the guest hall, they would have long since been thrown out of the hall. They might not even be able to keep their lives. However, Shui Guangxi still spoke politely to this female cultivator. It was not because of the generosity of the Shui clan, but because Shui Guangxi feared others. The blue-robed female cultivator didn't care about the gazes of others. She stood up and took out a small gray airship and said, "This is a high-grade flight-type spirit artifact. I want to exchange it for two things. The first is a starry sky spiritual grass, sifting fairy grass." Not waiting for the blue-robed female cultivator to finish her words, the entire guest hall suddenly burst into an uproar. A fiery gaze moved from the blue-robed female cultivator's face to the small gray airship in her hand. High-grade spirit artifact? It was simply a legendary item. In the mysterious yellow starland, a low-grade spirit artifact could become a sex guardian treasure. Even a half-grade spirit artifact could provoke countless people to fight over it. Yet this blue-robed female cultivator took out a high-rank spirit artifact. For a moment, greed, envy, desire, fervor, all kinds of gazes focused on the small wooden boat in the hands of the blue-robed female cultivator. Even if most of the people here were cultivators in the heaven-seated realm or above, they still couldn't suppress the heavy breathing coming from them. Even Shui Guangxi, a starry sky emperor in the eternal realm, could not hide the light of desire in his eyes. Ning Cheng had the starry sky wheel, so he didn't have much desire for a high-grade flight-type spirit artifact. But as an artifact crafting expert, he still felt shocked by this high-grade spirit artifact airship. He couldn't tell how this flying ship was made, but its smooth and natural appearance gave him a vague feeling. The craftsman who refined this flying ship had already fused together with the laws of heaven and earth. There was no flaw to be found at all. This was something refined by a top-notch artifact crafting powerhouse. Compared to this powerhouse, Zhongli Baiqi's artifact crafting skills were just like a baby learning to walk. Ningqing quickly retracted his gaze and secretly shook his head. Although he appreciated the blue-robed female cultivator's high-grade flight-type spirit artifact, he did not agree with this blue-robed female cultivator's approach. If it were him, he would never do such a thing. This blue-robed female cultivator took out a high-grade spirit artifact airship without fear, which showed her strength. It also showed that she did not fear the eternal-level cultivators here. There was nothing wrong with this. However, her mistake was to use this high-grade spirit artifact airship to exchange for the sifting fairy grass. As a grade 6 celestial river pill king, Ningqing knew all too well what the sifting fairy grass was. The sifting fairy grass was a top-grade starry sky spiritual grass, even surpassing grade 9 starry sky spiritual grasses. The only use of this thing was for healing. The sifting fairy grass could heal only one kind of injury, and that was damage to one Zifu. Zifu suffered various kinds of damage, but the sifting fairy grass would only work if one's sea of consciousness was damaged and one's cultivation kept declining. The sea of consciousness was condensed from the Zifu. Therefore, it was not wrong to say that the sea of consciousness was hidden within the Zifu. If the blue-robed female cultivator wanted to exchange for the sifting fairy grass, then the only possibility was that her Zifu suffered damage, which led to the continuous suppression of her sea of consciousness and cultivation. No matter how high this blue-robed female cultivator's cultivation was, as long as she could not obtain the sifting fairy grass, her cultivation would sooner or later fall to the level of ordinary eternal-level cultivators. At that time, not to mention exchanging for the sifting fairy grass, it would already be a blessing if she could keep the high-grade spirit artifact in her hands. The blue-robed female cultivator acted as if she did not see the hot and greedy gazes. After taking out the high-grade spirit artifact airship and displaying it for a while, she then put away the airship. "May I ask what is the other thing this friend wants to exchange for?" A bald male cultivator with a ruddy face stood up and asked. This voice immediately sobered up the cultivators who were still immersed in the fantasy of obtaining a high-grade spirit artifact. This bald male cultivator was an eternal-level expert. Even such an expert showed such fear towards the blue-robed female cultivator. From this, It showed that this blue-robed female cultivator was not someone ordinary people could afford to offend. I need a detailed positional jade strip, which refers to the place where this positional plane intersects with other positional planes. The blue-robed female cultivator spoke without any hurry. As soon as these words came out, the cultivators in the guest hall, who had some understanding of positional planes, immediately guessed that this blue-robed female cultivator was a cultivator from another positional plane. Ning Cheng thought to himself that if he wanted to find the junction between positional planes and interfaces, he would have to go to the ancient Desolace abandoned land. Otherwise, he could also go to the Eternal Night single-file gorge that he had just come out of and enter the void around the Eternal Night domain. That place definitely had the most connections to the other positional planes. After the red-faced bald male cultivator heard the blue-robed female cultivator's words, he immediately took out a jade strip and said, "Dao friendy, I have a jade strip here. It records the 4 grand starry skies, as well as most of the possible interface points and positional planes around the mysterious yellow starland." The blue-robed female cultivator shook her head calmly. One jade strip is not enough. Everyone knew that one jade strip was not enough. Not to mention one jade strip. Even if this jade strip combined with the sifting fairy grass, it would still be far from a high-grade spirit artifact. Unfortunately, no one here could take out the sifting fairy grass. Shui Guangxi suddenly spoke up. "Dao friendy, the positional jade strip is easy to obtain, but the sifting fairy grass is a bit more difficult. I can get a stalk of sifting fairy grass, but Dao friend, you will have to wait for a while." The red-faced male cultivator put away the jade strip with some displeasure. Although Shui Guangxi did not explicitly say that his jade strip was worthless, he had already told that woman surnamed Yi that she could get a jade strip anytime, anywhere. If she wanted the sifting fairy grass, she could only look for him, Shui Guangxi. Ning Cheng did not believe Shui Guangxi's words at all. He had experienced such things too many times. Shui Guangxi most likely said those words because he knew that the female cultivator's cultivation was weakening and urgently needed the sifting fairy grass. He had asked this female cultivator to wait for the female cultivator's cultivation to weaken to a certain extent before making his move. How long will it take? The blue-robed female cultivator maintained a calm expression, seemingly unaware of Shui Guangxi's thoughts. Shui Guangxi immediately spoke up. "I can't give you an answer now. I have to send out a message, and then I can give you an answer tomorrow. However, according to my judgment, I should be able to get it within a month." Ning Cheng sneered in his heart. A month's worth of daylilies would have already turned cold. He did not believe that the blue-robed female cultivator would agree to this request. The blue-robed female cultivator pondered over it for a moment before speaking. "Okay, I'll stay in your residence today and wait until tomorrow." Shui Guangxi, as the host, took the initiative to accept the blue-robed female cultivator's deal. Even if they coveted the high-grade flight-type spirit artifact, no one came out to speak at this time. The exchange meeting continued. Although the items in the back paled in comparison to the high-grade spirit artifacts, they still maintained a good standard. Ning Cheng did not make a move from the beginning to the end. Even if he saw some good things in the middle, he did not buy them. However, Duan Gantai, as always, showed off his wealth and continued to purchase all kinds of treasures. Towards the end, even some eternal cultivators started to pay attention to this side. Even Ning Cheng attracted the attention of many people. A few hours later, the exchange meeting finally ended. A Shui clan's heaven-seated steward entered the inner residence with a group of cultivators who wanted to marry Shui Wuchang. The blue-robed female cultivator and Tian Muwen were taken away to rest. Tian Muwen wanted to talk to Ning Cheng several times, but she finally held back and left with the blue-robed female cultivator. Ning Cheng, a follower, naturally did not have the opportunity to enter the inner residence. Instead, the Shui clan's people took him to a very ordinary room to rest. After entering the room, Ning Cheng immediately activated the restrictions around the room. Tian Muwen had an expert like the blue-robed female cultivator by her side, so he naturally did not need to care about her. What he cared about the most right now was Shui Wuchang. He did not care about who Shui Wuchang would choose as her husband, but whether he could get the white perpetual moontime key from Shui Wuchang. Only by obtaining the perpetual moontime key from Shui Wuchang Could he gain the upper hand in his fight against Duan Gantai? Although he left his spiritual consciousness imprint on Shui Wuchang's finger, he did not intend to start now. The Shui clan had many experts. If he started at this time, it would be a disaster if he was discovered. Although it wouldn't take his life, it would be more than enough for him to say goodbye to the perpetual moontime key. Breaking the restrictions around the ring through the spiritual consciousness imprint, and penetrating Shui Wuchang's ring. Ningcheng had only guessed it. As for whether it would succeed or not, he had no confidence at all. Fortunately, Shui Wuchang's cultivation was far inferior to his. Not only was he proficient in various array formations and restrictions, but he could also use his spiritual consciousness to attack. In order to make his plan succeed, Ningcheng repeatedly experimented in his room. 2 hours passed by in a flash, and just when Ningcheng felt that he had some confidence in his plan, he noticed his spiritual consciousness imprint moving towards him. He had left his spiritual consciousness imprint on Shui Wuchang. Now that his spiritual consciousness imprint had moved towards him, it meant that Shui Wuchang had come here. Ningcheng frowned and stood up. Shui Wuchang should still be in the middle of choosing a man, so why would she come here? Did Shui Wuchang discover his spiritual consciousness imprint and wanted to settle accounts with him? If that was the case, then Shui Wuchang definitely did not come here alone. Chapter 683. Just a dozen meters away from Ningcheng's room, Shui Wuchang suddenly stopped. She bit her lip and seemed to hesitate about something. Ningcheng's heart moved and he immediately took out a few materials and started refining the perpetual moontime key as quickly as possible. Ningcheng didn't care about the level of the perpetual moontime key at all. He just kept setting up various restrictions to prevent his spiritual consciousness from sweeping in. But before the perpetual moontime key could be refined, the restriction on Ningcheng's door activated. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept out and found only Shui Wuchang outside. Senior apprentice Sister Shui. After a dozen breaths, Ningcheng opened the restriction and called out respectfully. After Shui Wuchang entered Ningcheng's room, she helped Ningcheng put up the restriction on the door before looking at Ningcheng in a daze. Senior apprentice Sister Shui. Ningcheng felt really confused this time. He really couldn't understand why Shui Wuchang came here and looked at him like this. Shui Wuchang suddenly smiled. Big brother Ning, my father has already made the decision for me. In a few days, Big brother Duan will be my lifelong Dao companion. Ningcheng couldn't help but think that this Duan Gantai truly had some skills. Although he didn't look like much, he still managed to break through the encirclement and gain the favor of Shui Kaiqiao. Senior apprentice Sister Shui and our family's young master Duan are a match made in heaven. Congratulations, Senior apprentice Sister Shui. Ningcheng quickly cupped his fists and congratulated her. Shui Wuchang sighed, and a trace of loneliness flashed in her eyes, but she didn't speak. Ningcheng could only follow in silence. He still couldn't figure out why Shui Wuchang came here. He absolutely didn't believe that Shui Wuchang fell in love with him at first sight, and then secretly confessed to him. He wasn't the kind of handsome man with unparalleled qualifications in the heavens and earth. A man who couldn't get away from a woman. After a long time, Shui Wuchang spoke up. My father invited Big Brother Duan for a chat. Big Brother Ning. You've been following Big Brother Duan for a long time, right? Can you tell me something about him? Ningcheng felt a little speechless. Did she come here to inquire about Duan Gantai? But he didn't know anything about it. Senior Sister Shui, Big Brother Duan's natural talent is outstanding, and he's generous. The reason I'm willing to follow behind Big Brother Duan is because... Shui Wuchang suddenly interrupted Ningcheng's words. Big Brother Ning, but the person I like isn't him. Ah! Ningcheng exclaimed in surprise. Did you like Duan Gantai or not? Why did you come looking for me? Shui Wuchang pursed her lips and took out a wristband before stuffing it into Ningcheng's hand. She then grabbed Ningcheng's hand and spoke. Big Brother Ning, this is for you. Don't forget me. After saying that, Shui Wuchang suddenly hugged Ningcheng and kissed him on the cheek. Ningcheng didn't wait for Shui Wuchang to leave and immediately wrapped his arms around Shui Wuchang's waist. A soft and pleasant fragrance assaulted his senses, causing Ning Cheng's heart to flutter. However, Ning Cheng quickly sobered up and hugged the struggling Shui Wuchang even tighter. Junior apprentice Sister Wuchang, I finally understand what it means to fall in love at first sight. If it weren't for Shui Wuchang stuffing him with the bracelet and taking the initiative to kiss him, Ning Cheng wouldn't have hugged Shui Wuchang like this. Shui Wuchang never expected that Ning Cheng not only had a spiritual consciousness cultivation method, but also had such a wide range of knowledge. Within the entire starry sky, only a few cultivators recognized the Bodhi stone, but Ning Cheng also recognized it. The Bodhi stone and the lifting stone were two of the strangest materials in the starry sky, and were extremely rare. If these two materials were placed separately, they wouldn't interfere with each other at all. But once the Bodhi stone and the lifting stone were placed within 10 meters of each other, they would form a Bodhi poisonous heart aura. This aura could make people lose consciousness for a certain period of time. Even Eternal Realm cultivators were no exception. Moreover, after waking up, they wouldn't even notice it. The bracelet that Shui Wuchang gave him was the Bodhi stone. Although the artifact crafting staff blocked it from the outside, it couldn't escape Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness. Since the Bodhi stone was delivered to him, Ning Cheng felt almost certain that the lifting stone bead was on Duan Gantai. Ning Cheng could guess what would happen next. He would be arranged to live with Duan Gantai. Then, after the two of them lost consciousness, someone would turn their rings upside down. Duan Gantai only had heaven-seated cultivation, yet the Shui clan would rather use this method to make Duan Gantai unconscious than to attack him. From this, one could tell that Duan Gantai's origin wasn't ordinary. At least the Shui clan knew that Duan Gantai's origin wasn't ordinary, and wouldn't dare to kill Duan Gantai. However, Ning Cheng didn't feel any fear. If he wasn't prepared, he would most likely fall for it. Now that he knew about the Bodhi poisonous heart, he definitely wouldn't fall for it. Big brother Ning, don't do this. I'm leaving. If someone comes over. Shui Wuchang struggled, but Ning Cheng still held on to Shui Wuchang tightly. It would be strange if he didn't want something delivered to his door. Ning Cheng had already placed a spiritual consciousness mark on Shui Wuchang's ring. Now that Shui Wuchang was in his arms, he could do things even faster. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness opened the restrictions on Shui Wuchang's ring and invaded it. Bang! The restrictions on Ning Cheng's room opened again, and two women stood at the door. Shui Wuchang took the opportunity to break free from Ning Cheng's arms and said to Ning Cheng with a blushing face, "Big brother Ning, I'll be leaving first." After that, she hurriedly walked past the two female cultivators at the door and quickly disappeared. Tian Muan and the blue-robed female cultivator stood at the door. Not to mention that Ning Cheng had only activated a few Grade 3 Celestial Array restrictions. Even if Ning Cheng activated a Grade 6 Celestial River restriction, it would still be useless in the eyes of others. Are you okay?" After a long time, Tian Muan asked a question. The blue-robed female cultivator showed a cold smile. "Didn't you see his passionate look just now? Is there anything wrong with it? You should have said that you didn't come here to disturb his good time. Sit down, we haven't seen each other for a long time." Ning Cheng smiled and said. He also felt that Tian Muan had changed a lot. Back then, because of a misunderstanding, she didn't hesitate to abandon him. But now that she saw him and Shui Wuchang hugging each other, she didn't show even the slightest fluctuation. Maybe she had already regarded him as an ordinary friend, so she didn't care about it. Ning Cheng also understood that there was no possibility between him and Tian Muan. Not to mention anything else, just Luofei and Qianghua. With Tian Muan's independent personality, she would never compromise. Tian Muan shook her head. "No, I'm leaving. Take care." Seeing Tian Muan and the blue-robed female cultivator turn around to leave, Ning Cheng suddenly spoke up. "Senior apprentice Sister Yi, maybe I'm talking too much. I guess the Shui clan would definitely know that you asked for the sifting fairy grass, because your spiritual consciousness is constantly suppressed, which would cause your cultivation to drop. I'm afraid that they don't really have the sifting fairy grass, but just want to hold you back." The blue-robed female cultivator gave a cold snort. "Just take care of yourself. Don't beg Muan to let me save you. Let's go, Muan. There's no need to talk to such people." Watching the blue-robed female cultivator pull Tian Muan away, Ningqing showed a faint smile and didn't care about it at all. At the same time, he activated the restriction again and swept his spiritual consciousness into the ring. But then his expressions changed drastically. The perpetual moontime key he had just obtained from Shui Wucheng's ring had disappeared. Not only did the perpetual moontime key disappear, but even the 1 million perpetual moon pills in his ring had disappeared. Whoosh! Cold sweat started to flow down Ningqing's back. He had already advanced to the heaven-seated realm, yet someone had quietly taken away the things in his ring. What kind of terrifying cultivation was this? With this kind of terrifying cultivation, it would be as easy as flipping a hand to kill Ningqing. Shui Wucheng definitely didn't have such an ability, and neither did Tian Muan. The only possibility was that blue-robed female cultivator surnamed Yi. Ningqing secretly took in a deep breath. Fortunately, he had kept all the good things in the true spirit world. When he entered the mysterious yellow starland, he had put the true spirit world into the mysterious yellow bead. Otherwise, he would have suffered a huge loss. No wonder the blue-robed female cultivator had no fear. With such a powerful cultivation, Shui Guangxi simply couldn't compare to her. He must not let the white perpetual moontime key fall into the hands of the blue-robed female cultivator. Otherwise, it would be tantamount to him working for nothing. Thinking of this, Ningqing immediately left the room to find the blue-robed female cultivator. Just then, a slightly drunk Duan Gantai arrived at the door. Ningqing opened the restriction and Duan Gantai fell in. Ningqing knew about Duan Gantai's schemes, but he absolutely didn't believe that Duan Gantai would get drunk. When Duan Gantai came in, he only muttered a few words to Ningqing before falling down on the couch and muttering to himself. Ningqing's gaze then fell on Duan Gantai's hand. Sure enough, he saw a ring on Duan Gantai's finger. This ring wasn't an interspatial ring but a refined lifting stone. In just half an incense stick worth of time, the invisible aura of the Bodhi stone and the lifting stone condensed together and quickly formed the Bodhi poisonous heart. Ningqing sealed his aura and leaned back on a chair with his eyes closed. At this time, he wasn't sure if Duan Gantai didn't recognize the lifting stone in his hand. However, he believed that Duan Gantai wouldn't fall into such a trap so easily. If Duan Gantai were so useless, he would have already been eaten up by others. Why would he wait until now? Not long after Ningqing sealed his aura, Shui Guangxi arrived at Ningqing's room. Ningqing sneered in his heart. This Shui Guangxi really took this matter seriously, and even personally came to look for things. Shui Guangxi stood beside Duan Gantai for a while, and quickly took something from Duan Gantai's ring. As for Ningqing's ring, Shui Guangxi didn't even touch it. Not long after Shui Guangxi left, Duan Gantai woke up. He looked at Ningqing and chuckled. "Brother Ning, you can wake up now." Ningqing felt a little helpless and had to open his eyes and ask, "Brother Duan, what did Shui Guangxi take from your ring?" "It's just a fake perpetual moontime key." Duan Gantai spoke as if nothing had happened. After that, without waiting for Ningqing to ask again, he smiled and said, "Brother Ning, you must have obtained the perpetual moontime key from Shui Wucheng, right?" Ningqing frowned. "What do you mean?" Duan Gantai smiled. "Don't tell me that you didn't tamper with Shui Wucheng's ring when you sent her the Celestial River Pill King. Don't tell me that Shui Wucheng didn't come to see you before I came in. How could Shui Wucheng, a person with eyes on the top of her head, be Brother Ning's opponent?" As he spoke, his gaze fell on the Bodhi stone bead on Ningqing's wrist. Chapter 684. That's right, I got it. Now that I have 2 keys, shouldn't we rediscuss the distribution of the things in the Temple of Time? Ningqing spoke without any hurry. He didn't explain that someone else had taken away the perpetual moontime key. Duan Gantai also spoke up without any hurry. "Although you have 2 keys, it's all because of my hard work. First, if I hadn't given away so many things, Shui clan wouldn't have chosen me, while you didn't pay anything. Second, if I hadn't inadvertently revealed that I had a perpetual moontime key, people wouldn't have used the Bodhi poisonous heart, and you wouldn't have had the opportunity to scheme against Shui Wucheng. Third, I know where the Temple of Time is but you don't." Ningqing knew that Duan Gantai wouldn't be so easy to talk to. If Duan Gantai really calculated that he would do something to Shui Wuchang, then this fellow truly was too powerful. We can divide it equally, but you must tell me where the Temple of Time is. Cooperation is based on mutual trust. Brother Duan also said that we should cooperate sincerely, right? Ningqing didn't expect Duan Gantai to compromise with him. But to Ningcheng's surprise, Duan Gantai took out a jade strip with a straight face and handed it to Ningcheng. Brother Ning, fortunately you reminded me. Otherwise, I would have been too careless and almost caused a misunderstanding between us brothers. Since we want to cooperate, then we must be sincere. This is the jade strip with the location of the Temple of Time. Ningcheng took the jade strip in doubt. He thought that Duan Gantai would try to use all sorts of excuses to refuse. He didn't expect that he would tell him the location of the Temple of Time so easily. Wasn't this fellow a bit too easy to talk to? Why didn't he feel that Duan Gantai was this easy to talk to before? Seeing Ningcheng put away the jade strip, Duan Gantai smiled. Brother Ning, with Shui clan's shrewdness, I'm afraid they would soon discover the problem. Now that I have what I need, I'll take my leave first. After saying that, regardless of whether Ningcheng agreed or not, Duan Gantai flashed out of the house. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, but couldn't find any trace of him. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the jade strip, and found that it contained restrictions. Ningcheng didn't take the time to open the jade strip's restrictions, and hurried out of the house. He knew that Duan Gantai's last sentence was right. The Shui clan would definitely discover the two fake perpetual moon time keys. Since you went, why didn't you say anything? The blue-robed woman looked at Tian Muwen and asked. Tian Muwen sighed. He has changed. He used to not even dare to hold my hand, but today he... In her eyes, Ning Xiaocheng was a shy person, but now he was not only willing to humble himself and stand behind others as a servant, but was also secretly so bold with other women. Tian Muwen ultimately did not continue, but looked at the blue-robed woman with a trace of pleading in her voice. Elder sister, you said that the rules here are not complete. When we leave, can we take him with us? The blue-robed woman looked at Tian Muwen and said. Tian Mu Tian Mu Tian, master. Tian Yu, I said he you. I you, I said I you. Tian Ti. Chung, Tian. After Tian Muwen heard these words, she was somewhat at a loss, and only shook her head after a long time. I don't know, maybe I'm not his girlfriend, so I don't have the qualifications to be angry. Maybe. I've changed too. Everyone would change. After experiencing the insect tide on Earth, the parting of life and death, the feelings of regret and hatred, and the experience of transmigrating to another plane, what else couldn't change? The blue-robed female cultivator sighed in her heart and spoke with a soft tone. Muwen, although I have never fallen in love, I have seen a lot. I don't think you two are compatible. Seeing Tian Muwen reveal a puzzled look, the blue-robed female cultivator simply spoke up. That Ning Xiaocheng is not a simple person. I have a vague feeling that he is not what you see. He has a strong self-confidence that I've only seen in my father. Big sister. Tian Muwen looked at the blue-robed female cultivator in shock. He's not simple, and his master with the surname Duan isn't simple either. As for why you said that he was a proud person and wanted to be someone else's slave, I don't know. But there is one thing I'm sure of. There is nothing between him and Shui Wuchang. The blue-robed female cultivator spoke out her guess. Tian Muwen felt puzzled. But big sister, he was clearly hugging that female cultivator, and... The blue-robed female cultivator showed a slight smile. Muwen, sometimes what you see is not necessarily true. One misunderstanding can be considered a misunderstanding, but two misunderstandings can only mean that you two are not suitable for each other. Moreover, your attitude towards him right now is more of pity than love. Tian Muwen suddenly froze. She recalled the scene when Ningcheng returned to Earth, when she and Ningcheng met in the coffee shop. From the beginning to the end, she only felt pity for Ningcheng, or rather, pity. Pity and sympathy were definitely not love. If she really loved Ningcheng, even if she became a true cultivator, even if her family background was more powerful, even if Ningcheng's situation was worse, She would not feel that the two of them were not people from the same world, nor would she feel that the two of them could not be together. Thinking back to the coffee shop, and the thoughts she had towards Ning Cheng, Tian Muwen suddenly felt a bit ridiculous. Perhaps at that time, Ning Cheng also looked at her the same way. No matter how powerful her family background was, could it compare to a powerful true cultivator like Ning Cheng? Her qi-gathering third-level cultivation was not even worth mentioning in Ning Cheng's eyes. However, she thought that she was standing at the highest place, and even took out a diamond card to look down on Ning Cheng. Although she did not mean it, when she took out the diamond card, it showed that she was already standing on top of Ning Cheng's head. Otherwise, with her previous understanding of Ning Cheng, how could he possibly do such a thing? Previously, she would rather accompany Ning Cheng to eat in a tiny restaurant than to take care of Ning Cheng's self-esteem. Today, when she saw Ning Cheng again, she still felt the same kind of pity and sympathy. Seeing Ning Cheng forcibly embracing Shui Wuchang, she could only sigh in her heart. She even wanted to talk to Ning Cheng for a few words. Did Ning Cheng need her pity and sympathy? If it weren't for her big sister, would she have been able to leave Earth and start a real true cultivator? However, Ning Cheng had always relied on himself from the beginning to the end. Her big sister had told her that in the true cultivator world, the strong preyed on the weak. What was wrong with Ning Cheng following behind that person surnamed Duan as a servant? After Tian Muwen sorted out her thoughts, her mood relaxed. Big sister, you're so beautiful. Don't you have anyone you like? The blue-robed female cultivator shook her head. Your cultivation is still low. I'll explain it to you when your cultivation reaches a higher level. As for someone I like, I really haven't met anyone who could move my heart. I won't feel wrong just to find a Dao companion. You don't have to worry about whether you like someone or not. When that person's surname Ning comes over, you can talk to him yourself. He will come over? Tian Muwen looked at the blue-robed female cultivator in doubt. The blue-robed female cultivator nodded with affirmation. Yes, he will definitely come over. She had taken the key that Ning Cheng had taken from Shui Wuchang with the sole purpose of making Ning Cheng come over. No. The blue-robed female cultivator followed up with 2 more words before grabbing Tian Muwen and rushing into the sky. Even so, a violent force still struck the sole of her foot. The blue-robed female cultivator had just rushed out when a dull explosion erupted from the room she had been in. Although the sound of the explosion wasn't very loud, the room completely turned into nothingness after the explosion. Cracks appeared out of thin air, and it was a ghastly sight like a spider web. The violent impact force slammed into Ning Cheng's chest. Even if Ning Cheng's domain managed to block it in time, he still felt a burst of pain in his chest and almost died from the impact. Ning Cheng secretly felt shocked. He had a clear understanding of his own cultivation. Even with his cultivation, the aftermath of the explosion had almost injured him. If the blue-robed female cultivator hadn't rushed out of the room, she most likely would have died. Ning Cheng instantly concealed himself. He had indeed come here to ask the blue-robed female cultivator for the key. Unexpectedly, he hadn't even reached the blue-robed female cultivator's room when her room exploded. Looking at the void cracks in the distance, Ning Cheng secretly exclaimed in his heart. He didn't know what caused such terrifying power. Although it didn't look very powerful, it had created such a terrifying void crack. Even the aftermath was so powerful. After the explosion, the void crack had not yet completely closed when several weapons shot towards the blue-robed female cultivator. Ning Cheng, who was hiding on the side, could clearly see that the ones attacking the blue-robed female cultivator were all in the Eternal Realm. Moreover, they were all cultivators who had participated in Shui Guanqi's grand ceremony. Ning Cheng had guessed that Shui clan would attack the blue-robed female cultivator, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Boom boom boom. A series of violent explosions erupted over Shui clan's residence. Countless explosive lights and flashes of lightning mixed together, showing the intensity of the battle. Explosions and a bloody mist continued to sprinkle down from the sky. Bang bang. A figure quickly fell down, followed by a sharp sound, and a blue arc streaked across the sky. Ning Cheng could clearly see that the blue-robed female cultivator was truly powerful. She should have already suffered some injuries, and the dull explosion had injured her once again. Even under such circumstances, with 6 eternal cultivators besieging her, she still managed to kill 2 of them, and seriously injure 1. She's seriously injured, hurry up and chase after her. The cultivator who fell to the ground screamed. But in fact, he didn't even need to shout out as the others had already chased after her. Perhaps they knew that the blue-robed female cultivator's injuries were too severe, but in addition to the few eternal cultivators who chased after her, more than a dozen cultivators quickly chased after her. The cultivator, who was blasted down by the blue-robed female cultivator, took a deep breath and took out a medicinal pill. But before he could swallow the medicinal pill, a sharp murderous intent locked onto him. Although he instantly realized that someone had plotted against him, his current situation didn't allow him to escape this sneak attack. Poof! The spear tip pierced through the back of his head and came out from between his eyebrows. The powerful celestial essence quickly destroyed his meridians. "Who are you?" the cultivator asked, unwilling to give up. "I'm just passing by." Ningcheng twisted the long spear in his hand, and a cluster of flames turned the eternal cultivator into nothingness. A ring flew out of the flames and fell into Ningcheng's hand. Chapter 685. Ningcheng had just put away the ring when he felt something amiss. He quickly understood what was going on. Duan Gantai's aura had disappeared from the connecting spirit silk. In other words, he couldn't figure out Duan Gantai's current location. Sure enough, he hadn't misjudged this surname Duan. He could easily sever the connecting spirit silk without going through him. Ningcheng didn't hesitate to send out a few spiritual consciousness imprints to seal the connecting spirit silk in his hand. Since he didn't know Duan Gantai's whereabouts, he naturally didn't want Duan Gantai to know his whereabouts. Violent celestial essence explosions sounded out again. Ningcheng understood that the blue-robed female cultivator hadn't managed to break through Mai City's sealing array formation in time. Ningcheng was just about to go out and take a look when his spiritual consciousness swept out and found that the blue-robed female cultivator had returned. Nearly 34 cultivators besieged the blue-robed female cultivator. Of these cultivators, at least 7 or 8 were in the eternal realm, while the rest were at least in the heaven-seated realm. It wasn't until this moment that Ningcheng truly felt the power of the blue-robed female cultivator. Cultivators kept falling under her bombardment, and Shui clan's territory turned into a complete mess. Even the cultivation grotto mansions and spiritual herbal gardens were blasted up into the sky. The magnificent buildings were riddled with ravines, and the number of cultivators killed was uncountable. Ningcheng somewhat understood what this blue-robed female cultivator meant. This woman had a clear distinction between gratitude and grudges. Knowing that she couldn't get out, she decided to use Shui clan's territory as a battlefield. Even if Shui clan managed to snatch the things from this female cultivator, they would suffer a great deal of damage to their vitality. In the mysterious yellow starland, Ningcheng felt that Shui clan's approach was unwise. According to his thoughts, even if Shui clan wanted to scheme against this blue-robed female cultivator, they wouldn't be in such a hurry. They couldn't even wait for a night. In the deepest part of Shui clan's territory, Shui Guangxi sat in the middle of the room with a livid expression. Apart from Shui Guangxi, there were more than a dozen cultivators in the heaven-seated realm, and above with angry expressions. Tai clan has gone too far. If this continues, my Shui clan won't have any bones left. A long-haired male cultivator in the life and death realm suddenly stood up, overflowing with murderous intent and overflowing with anger. Shui Guangxi took a deep breath and waved his hand at the long-haired man. Guangtan, since things have come to this point, it's useless to be angry. The Tai family roped in others and used my Shui family's name to launch a sneak attack on that woman surnamed Yi. They clearly want to scheme against my Shui family and kill with a borrowed knife. The winner was king, and the loser was in the wrong. Preserving their strength was the most important thing. That woman surnamed Yi is too powerful. Even if the Tai family captures her, they will definitely be heavily injured. Then are we going to allow the Shui family to become the battlefield? If we continue to fight like this, our Shui clan's starry sky spiritual vein might not be able to keep it. Another Shui clan elder stood up and said. Shui Guangxi did not answer the elder's words. Instead, he spoke to Shui Wuchang, who sat on the side. Wuchang, leave the mysterious yellow starland immediately. Just remember my words and what I told you. After saying that, Shui Guangxi stood up. The rest of the Shui clan's cultivators in the life and death realm and above, follow me and participate in the siege. Remember one thing, when we besiege that female cultivator surnamed Yi, we must not let her target us. Everyone understood the patriarch's words, which was to preserve their strength and act according to circumstances. Ningqing hid on the side and saw Shui Guangxi rush out with 7 or 8 Shui clan's cultivators in the life and death realm and above. Seeing Shui Guangxi come out only now, Ningqing immediately understood that someone must have plotted against the Shui clan. Ningqing knew that Shui clan had obviously used a delaying tactic, so why would they suddenly launch a hasty attack? He also didn't know who planned this, but this person was skilled in using a borrowed knife to kill others. However, it couldn't be considered as using a borrowed knife. Shui clan had already planned to deal with the blue-robed female cultivator, but they had moved ahead of schedule. Dazzling lights from various weapons exploded over the Shui clan, and cultivators kept falling to the ground. Ningqing retracted his spiritual consciousness. He knew that his current strength still fell short of an eternal cultivator. Once someone discovered him peeping from the side, they would only need to send an eternal cultivator to deal with him. That blue-robed female cultivator should have already suffered some injuries. Now that so many powerhouses besieged her, Ningqing guessed that she might not be able to handle it. Ningqing hesitated for a moment and decided not to stay here. He decided to help the blue-robed female cultivator. Whether it was from the perspective of the perpetual moontime key or Tian Muin's perspective, he should put in some effort. Thinking of this, Ningqing quietly left the Shui clan. Muin, we might not be able to get away today. I was a bit careless. The blue-robed female cultivator once again shot out a few lightning bolts and killed a cultivator in the life and death realm, before speaking up with a somewhat decadent tone. I'm sorry, big sister. I dragged you into this. If it weren't for me, your true spirit world wouldn't have cracked open after passing through positional planes, causing so many things inside to break. We also wouldn't have to come here to look for the sifting fairy grass. Tian Muin felt a bit of guilt in her heart. It was because she had stayed in her big sister's true spirit world that this situation had occurred. The blue-robed female cultivator shot out a few more lightning bolts and spoke with a smile. I obtained my true spirit world in the true cultivation world. It's not of a high grade, so it's fine if it cracked open. It's a pity that my spiritual consciousness was suppressed too much. Otherwise, if I could have taken out a weapon, these ants wouldn't have been enough in my eyes. Everyone, don't hold back. She's already an arrow at the end of its flight. Let's all bring out our most powerful attacks, go all out. An eternal cultivator suddenly shouted. But just as his voice fell, a lightning bolt pierced through his chest. Although the eternal cultivator suffered severe injuries after speaking, everyone understood that the blue-robed female cultivator really couldn't hold on for much longer. Just then, an explosion shook the entire Mai city, and everyone was startled by the sound. The blue-robed female cultivator's face immediately showed surprise. She grabbed Tian Muin beside her without hesitation and shot out a blue light, disappearing without a trace in a flash. A red-haired male cultivator with only one arm left roared. Who? Who the hell blew open Mai city's ceiling array formation? What's the use of saying this? Hurry up and activate the mysterious yellow starland's star-protecting grand array. Another cultivator roared. It's too late. With this person's speed, she should have already left the mysterious yellow starland by now. An early-stage eternal cultivator shook his head. He felt that he shouldn't have stepped into this muddy water. He was only at the early-stage eternal realm, and still had a long way to go before reaching the full circle of the eternal realm. Even if this female cultivator was a Tao-confirming cultivator and above the eternal realm, he wouldn't get much benefit from it with his strength. Why would he listen to others and come here to fight for his life? In the end, not only did he fail to catch the fish, he even ended up with a fishy smell. Since someone helped that female cultivator blow open Mai city's array formation, it meant that this person didn't come here alone. Brother Guangxi, we're here at your invitation. Since your Shui clan has set up so many arrays, why didn't you seal off the star-protecting grand array in advance? A red-robed woman spoke up with a chilling tone. She was alone and an eternal powerhouse, so she didn't fear the Shui clan at all. Shui Guangxi's expressions turned ugly. He knew that he couldn't say that this was a plot by the Tai clan against the Shui clan. If he said it, it would be tantamount to falling out with the Tai clan. Not to mention that the Shui clan's vitality was severely damaged. Even if the Shui clan didn't suffer any damage, they still wouldn't be a match against the Tai clan. The Tai clan naturally couldn't seal off the mysterious Yellow Starland's star-protecting grand array, because to seal off the star-protecting grand array, it would have to go through his Shui clan. The Tai clan had plotted against the Shui clan, so how could they let the Shui clan know about it? In a valley millions of miles away from Mai City, the blue-robed female cultivator stopped, her face pale to the extreme. Big sister, how are you? Tian Muwen anxiously held onto the blue-robed female cultivator. The blue-robed female cultivator shook her head. I'm fine. Muwen, quickly refine this mask and put it on to change your aura. Otherwise, it would bode ill for you. After the blue-robed female cultivator finished speaking, she put on a mask. In just a few breaths, she changed from a young girl to an ordinary middle-aged female cultivator. Tian Muwen took the mask and hesitated for a moment before asking, Big sister, since we escaped from Mai City, why not leave this starland? Staying here might give us a chance to survive, but leaving the mysterious Yellow Starland? The blue-robed female cultivator didn't continue. Although Tian Muwen was smart, her strength was still too low. Because she came from Earth, she still lacked tempering. If she took Tian Muwen out of the mysterious Yellow Starland and entered the void, it would bode ill for them. The blue-robed female cultivator didn't continue, but Tian Muwen understood what the blue-robed female cultivator meant. Her strength and experience were too low to survive in the void alone. Seeing Tian Muwen understand her meaning, the blue-robed female cultivator spoke up. Someone helped us open Mai City's Grand Array formation before, but I don't know who it was? We don't know anyone here, could it be? Tian Muwen hesitated after speaking half a sentence. The blue-robed female cultivator knew who Tian Muwen was talking about and shook her head. That Ning Xiaoqing's celestial wheels are in a mess, which means his cultivation shouldn't be too high. Using violence to open Mai City's Grand Array formation requires a certain level of array formation mastery. He is so young, so he definitely can't be an array formation expert. Besides, I've been to the place where he lived before, and the level of array formations there. The blue-robed female cultivator didn't continue, but Tian Muwen understood what she meant. After Ningqing blew up Mai City's array formation, he immediately rushed out of the mysterious Yellow Starland. He didn't go far but stayed on the periphery of the mysterious Yellow Star, waiting for the blue-robed female cultivator and Tian Muwen to come out. After an incense stick worth of time, the cultivators chasing after the blue-robed female cultivator finally came out. However, Ningqing didn't see the blue-robed female cultivator or Tian Muwen. Ningqing understood that the blue-robed female cultivator hadn't left the mysterious Yellow Starland. Despite feeling helpless, Ningqing could only change his appearance into a fierce-looking starry skies wanderer and return to Mai City. Although he felt a little worried about Tian Muwen, he also cared about the key. Back then, he had only wandered around the Sea of Twilight once before comprehending Sunset's twilight, obtaining time stones, twilight sand, and glimmers of dawn ice essence. The Temple of Time was the place where the Perpetual Moon Holy Emperor kept his treasures, so how many good things did it contain? Chapter 686. As soon as Ningqing entered Mai City, he felt a different atmosphere compared to before. Many cultivators had nervous expressions on their faces, and cultivators kept coming out of the city. Ningqing could roughly guess what was going on. Although neither side deliberately affected the others in the battle with the Shui clan, the Shui clan was razed to the ground, and several eternal-level powerhouses fell. This was definitely a huge event. A demonic beast roared, followed by a black three-winged flying bear rushing over. Ningqing quickly dodged to the side, but a black shadow rushed past him, bringing with it a gust of wind. The cultivators on the street immediately gave way. Fortunately, none of the cultivators here were weak. Although the three-winged flying bear was fast, it did not hit anyone. Ning Cheng could clearly see that the person riding the three-winged flying bear was a young-looking man with just a celestial gatherer cultivation. With such a low cultivation, yet daring to run amok in my city, he obviously had a powerful background. It reminded Ning Cheng of the same scene he encountered in Songli City, when he first arrived at the Zhongqin province. However, Luofei had killed Xian Yuankui, who had bumped into him. Luofei had done it for him. Thinking of Luofei, Ning Cheng wanted to go to the everlasting sacred shrine and take her and Qianghua away. Now that he was in the heaven-seated realm and had refined most of the true spirit world, he could definitely take away Luofei and Qianghua. A celestial gatherer ant dares to act so arrogantly. Senior apprentice Brother Rong, who is behind this fellow? Ning Cheng heard a very soft voice. Ning Cheng felt moved and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. He saw a young female cultivator with Heaven's Mandate cultivation. Next to the female cultivator was a man with a medium build and silver hair. He also had Heaven's Mandate cultivation. The man quickly winked at the female cultivator and cautiously said, "Junior apprentice Sister Yu, you must not say such things again. The person who just passed by is from the Tai clan. We can't afford to offend him." The female cultivator seemed to understand the severity of the situation and quickly spoke up. "I know." The female cultivator seemed to have said something else, but Ning Cheng could no longer hear it. Ning Cheng understood that the other party should have used a sound transmission and immediately sent out a spiritual consciousness blade. He didn't want to hear the secrets of these two people, but he wanted to know if the male cultivator knew about the Tai clan. Tai clan and Shui clan were equally famous, so they should also have some influence in my city. He was still in my city, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to gather more information. Let's go to the mysterious yellow temple. Remember not to ask anything else. Ning Cheng only heard the man finish half a sentence when the conversation between the two ended. The words mysterious yellow temple immediately attracted Ning Cheng's attention. He had the mysterious yellow bead, so he paid close attention to anything related to the mysterious yellow bead. When he heard about the mysterious yellow starland, he immediately paid close attention to it. Later, when he entered the mysterious yellow starland, the mysterious yellow bead did not change, so he thought it was just a coincidence. Now that he heard about the mysterious yellow temple, Ning Cheng wanted to ask about it. At this time, the two cultivators, a man and a woman, turned into a fork in the street, causing Ning Cheng to quickly follow them. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the two of them entered a small rest stop. Ning Cheng saw the two of them sitting down in a corner of the rest stop, while he also sat down not far from the two of them. "Man, give me a pot of none to depend on wine." Ning Cheng waved his hand. He knew that my city's most famous wine was the none to depend on wine. Since he heard Duan Gantai say that he couldn't buy the real none to depend on wine, he wanted to give it a try. Hearing Ning Cheng call it none to depend on wine, the people around him immediately swept their eyes over. The waiter quickly came to Ning Cheng and politely said, "In my city, only the Mutual Dependence restaurant has the real none to depend on wine. Our rest stop doesn't sell it." "I know. I said a fake pot would do. It would be best if it's in a green pot." Ning Cheng pretended to be an expert. He and Jing Wuming had drunk together before and knew that the green pot of none to depend on wine was the best. Of course, he now knew that the green pot of none to depend on wine was just the best imitation. The waiter's expression changed and he quickly bowed to Ning Cheng and said, "Friend, please be careful with your words. Our rest stop never sells none to depend on wine, let alone imitations. If this friend wants to drink the real none to depend on wine, please go to the Mutual Dependence restaurant." Ning Cheng understood a bit. In my city, no other hotels dared to sell fake none to depend on wine. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng simply pointed to the male and female cultivator he followed and said, "In that case, give me a pot of the same wine as them." "Many thanks, friend." The waiter quickly took out a pot of wine and placed it in front of Ning Cheng. The male cultivator, on seeing Ning Cheng order the same wine as them, smiled at Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng also nodded and said, "Two friends, my name is Cheng Nianxiong." The male cultivator quickly stood up and cupped his fists. I'm Rong Wang, and this is my junior apprentice sister Senyu. Ningqing simply picked up the wine pot and sat down at the table of the two people. I just came to my city. Did the two of you just come to my city? Rong Wang spoke with caution. Yes, my junior apprentice sister and I happened to pass by my city. Ningqing chuckled. Within the starry skies, everyone is a friend. Come, let's have a drink. After saying that, Ningqing picked up the wine pot. Rong Wang and Senyu felt a little puzzled by Ningqing's familiarity, but they also picked up the wine pot and took a sip with Ningqing. By the way, I don't know if the two of you have some free time recently? I came to my city to find a few friends to form a team and go somewhere. Since I just arrived in my city, I'm not very familiar with the place. Therefore, it's a bit presumptuous to ask this question. Please forgive me. Ningqing no longer hid it. Rong Wang spoke up apologetically. I'm really sorry. Junior apprentice sister and I are going to the mysterious Yellow Temple and rest for a while. Ningqing initially thought that the mysterious Yellow Temple was a very secretive place. He didn't expect Rong Wang to say it out loud. He quickly asked, what is the mysterious Yellow Temple? Seeing that Ningqing didn't even know about the mysterious Yellow Temple, Rong Wang and Senyu felt stunned. Rong Wang quickly responded, I heard that a long time ago, the mysterious Yellow Temple was a relic of the mysterious Yellow Starland. But now it's just an ordinary temple. Generally, cultivators who are ready to go on adventures or gain experience, as long as they're not far from the mysterious Yellow Temple, they would go to the mysterious Yellow Temple to pay their respects. Why is that? Ningqing asked in doubt. Rong Wang quickly explained, it's a spiritual sustenance. It's said that cultivators who go to the mysterious Yellow Temple to pay their respects would experience a significant increase in their destiny. If Brother Qing wants to go out for a task, you might as well go to the mysterious Yellow Temple. I have a jade strip here. While talking, Rong Wang took out a jade strip and engraved a few words on it before handing it to Ningqing. Ningqing took the jade strip and swept it with his spiritual consciousness. Sure enough, he found the words Mysterious Yellow Temple on the jade strip map of the mysterious Yellow Starland. Many thanks, Brother Rong. After thanking Rong Wang, Ningqing finished the wine in the pot and paid the bill for Rong Wang and Senyu before leaving the rest stop. Ningqing hadn't walked far from the small rest stop when he noticed someone following him. Therefore, he sped up and left Mai City. But Ningqing didn't expect that after he left Mai City, the person following him still followed him. Ningqing stopped, and a moment later, the cultivator following him arrived in front of Ningqing. This cultivator didn't look too old, and had a celestial bridge cultivation. He had a well-defined face and looked quite handsome. He didn't seem to care about Ningqing discovering that he was following him. Instead, he cupped his fists towards Ningqing and spoke with a respectful tone. Senior, I heard Senior say that you wanted the nun to depend on wine in the rest stop. Is it true? Ningqing's face sank. So what if it's true? Don't tell me that you can get your hands on the nun to depend on wine. As far as I know, the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce controls the nun to depend on wine, and doesn't sell it to the public. If you want to fool me with fake wine, haha. While speaking, Ningqing's powerful imposing aura rolled over. The cultivator following Ningqing was just a celestial bridge cultivator. Therefore, under Ningqing's powerful imposing aura, his face suddenly turned pale. Seeing that he had suppressed the other party, Ningqing retracted some of his imposing aura. The cultivator took a deep breath and spoke to Ningqing with a respectful tone. This junior can indeed get my hands on the nun to depend on wine. As long as Senior believes in this junior and swears not to hurt this junior. Ningqing spoke with a calm voice. A trivial nun to depend on wine isn't worth me swearing. But I won't hurt a little celestial bridge cultivator like you. If you have something to say, just say it. Otherwise, I don't have time to waste with you. The celestial bridge cultivator, on seeing that Ningqing didn't seem to care much about the nun to depend on wine, gritted his teeth and spoke. Senior, this junior's name is Mo Wang. This junior's ancestor was the one who brewed the nun to depend on wine. However, the Zhu clan forcibly seized it. After destroying my Mo clan, they established the Mutual Dependence Chamber of Commerce. In fact, the original name of the none to depend on wine was mutual dependence wine. The addition of the Mo character is because this wine was brewed by my Mo clan. Ningcheng couldn't see that this celestial bridge cultivator was lying. Therefore, he still spoke with a calm tone. I don't want to know about the matters between your Mo clan and the Mutual Dependence Chamber of Commerce. You have quite the courage to say such things to me. Aren't you afraid that I would send you to the Mutual Dependence Chamber of Commerce? Mo Wang spoke up with even more respect. This junior has been in my city for decades, but I couldn't enter the Mo clan's hidden wine cellar in Mutual Dependence City. This junior had already given up and was ready to leave my city. However, this junior didn't want to give up. Since senior asked about the none to depend on wine, this junior decided to risk his life and give it a try. As long as senior can leave the Mo clan's inheritance to this junior doesn't want anything else. Seeing Ningcheng remain silent, Mo Wang quickly spoke up. The Mo clan's wine cellar is located in my city. It also contains the recipe for my Mo clan's none to depend on wine. This is a spirit technique left behind by my Mo clan's ancestor. This junior is willing to give this spirit technique to senior, as long as senior engraves a copy of it for this junior. Okay, I agree. We'll act tonight. You lead the way. I'll say the ugly words first. After this transaction, I'm only responsible for taking you out of my city. I don't care about anything else. Ningcheng finally made up his mind. Firstly, he really yearned for the none to depend on wine. Secondly, he wanted to see what kind of spirit technique this wine contained. Many thanks, senior. This junior only needs to leave my city. Mo Wang felt overjoyed and thanked him with a bow. Chapter 687. Interdependence Chamber of Commerce could become one of the 3 associations in my city, because of the none to depend on wine. In my city, Interdependence Chamber of Commerce's businesses were all located in Interdependence Merchant House. This included Interdependence Chamber of Commerce's rest stop, restaurants, pill pavilions, artifact pavilions and so on. Countless cultivators entered and exited Interdependence Merchant House every day. As such, Ningcheng and Mo Wang, who had disguised themselves as Starry Skies Wanderers, entered Interdependence Merchant House. There were just too many Starry Skies Wanderers who came to Interdependence Merchant House. Hey, we want booth 19. Ningcheng walked to the counter and called out directly. The shop assistant at the counter glanced at Ningcheng and Mo Wang and spoke with a calm voice. Sorry, booth 19. Ningcheng did not wait for the shop assistant to finish and threw out a jade bottle. This is your tip. The shop assistant grabbed the jade bottle and swept it with his spiritual consciousness. When he found that the jade bottle contained 100 perpetual moon pills, his face immediately showed some surprise. A tip of 100 perpetual moon pills. These 2 Starry Skies Wanderers truly were rich. 2 guests, please wait a moment. I'll arrange it for you. The shop assistant waved his hand, and the jade bottle disappeared. His tone also turned polite. Ningcheng and Mo Wang did not have to wait for long before the shop assistant came over with a smile. 2 guests, booth 19 is now empty. Please come in. Ningcheng nodded to the shop assistant, threw out a storage bag and said, Give us 2 pots of ordinary none to depend on wine. Consider the extra as your errand fee. My friend and I have something important to discuss, so don't disturb us. Yes, yes. The shop assistant quickly responded, but the surprise on his face could no longer be contained. When this guest first arrived, he had already rewarded him with 100 perpetual moon pills. Now that he took out so many perpetual moon pills, it truly showed how rich he was. After entering booth 19, Ningcheng casually activated the restrictions. Only then did Mo Wang breathe a sigh of relief and speak up in admiration. Senior truly is amazing. This junior has come here no less than 1,000 times, but only managed to enter this booth 5 times. Ningcheng ignored Mo Wang's words. His spiritual consciousness swept around booth 19 and spoke up with some doubt. There's nothing special about it. Some of the restrictions are just ordinary isolation restrictions. Mo Wang quickly spoke up. Senior, please wait a moment. After saying that, Mo Wang took out a dark red jade card. walked to the left corner of the box, and embedded the jade card. After a while, a faint light flashed, followed by a few slight explosions, and an entrance appeared in front of Ning Cheng and Mo Wang. Ning Cheng secretly admired it in his heart. It really was a very good concealment array formation. With his formation skills, he actually couldn't see it just now. Senior, there's another stone door behind this entrance. Junior is unable to open this stone door. After entering this place a few times, I am also unable to open it, explained Mo Wang. Come in with me. Ning Cheng flashed into the entrance. Mo Wang quickly followed behind Ning Cheng and entered the entrance. After Mo Wang put away the jade card, the entrance to booth 19 once again returned to its original state. One had to say that the array formation at the entrance was extremely brilliant. Mo Wang was right. There really was a huge stone door here. This stone door obviously couldn't be opened by brute force. Once brute force was used in this place, it would immediately be noticed by others. Ning Cheng took out the array flags and began to arrange an array formation. After an incense stick worth of time, Ning Cheng finally finished arranging the array formation. He then put both hands on the stone door and pushed it to the side. Rumble. A muffled sound emerged, and the stone door moved to the side, revealing a dark passage in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng secretly cursed in his heart. This muffled sound would definitely spread out, and once it spread out, someone would definitely come to investigate. Seeing Ning Cheng checking the movements outside, Mo Wang spoke up from the side. Senior, you don't have to worry. Even if the sound spread out, it wouldn't be too loud. Moreover, because of the Shui clan, Interdependence Chamber of Commerce's eternal level cultivators shouldn't be here. Mo Wang spoke the truth. Ning Cheng waited for a while, but did not hear any sound. He then said to Mo Wang, "You follow me." After walking down the passage for nearly 100 meters, Ning Cheng once again saw a stone door in front of him. However, this stone door was very simple. Ning Cheng didn't even need to use an array formation. With just a gentle push, the stone door opened. What appeared in front of Ning Cheng was a large space with a radius of dozens of meters. Rich starry sky essence chi permeated the space. Ning Cheng, with his rich experience, immediately understood that this place contained a starry sky essence chi vein. At the top of this room were 2 cyan jade buckets with the words "best quality none to depend on" written on them. Moreover, it didn't give off the slightest smell of alcohol. In addition, there was also a white jade stone platform with an isolation restriction over it. Inside the restriction were 3 things. In the middle was a crystal ball, on the left was a ring, and on the right was a jade strip. Senior, this isolation restriction requires this junior's blood to open it. Forcibly opening it will destroy it. Mo Wang suppressed the surprise and desire in his eyes, and spoke to Ning Cheng with a respectful tone. Ning Cheng nodded. Go ahead and open it. Mo Wang walked up to the isolation restriction, and cut his finger. When his blood fell on the restriction, the isolation restriction immediately disappeared. Mo Wang didn't touch the things on the white jade stone platform. Instead, he stood to the side and said, Senior, the restriction has been opened. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had already swept past the 3 things. Seeing that Mo Wang didn't touch the 3 things, he nodded and said, That ring is the inheritance of your Mo clan. There should be a lot of cultivation resources inside. This junior doesn't want any of those cultivation resources. Mo Wang quickly spoke up. Ning Cheng waved his hand. You're overthinking it. You can take the ring, but I don't want any of those things. I won't go so far as to rob your Mo clan's inheritance. That jade strip should contain the brewing method for the none to depend on wine. You can engrave a copy for me later. As for the crystal ball, it should contain the none to depend on spirit technique. Since I can't copy it, you can have it. Senior. Mo Wang quickly knelt on the ground. This junior doesn't dare to take it. He thought that Ning Cheng had deliberately tested him. Once he really wanted it, Ning Cheng would immediately kill him. Ning Cheng smiled. Do you think I lied to you? Don't worry. Although your Mo clan's things are good, I won't go so far as to violate my bottom line to snatch them from you. Mo Wang finally determined that Ning Cheng's words were true, and he couldn't contain his excitement. For him, Bringing an outsider here and obtaining the inheritance was already a joyous event. He even came here with the thought of dying. Once he met a greedy person, he, Mo Wang, would definitely die. Senior, this junior only needs a ring. The none to depend on spirit technique is too far away for this junior. As for the brewing jade strip, Senior can engrave a copy for this junior. Mo Wang thanked Ningqing again and took away the ring. Seeing that Mo Wang didn't dare to take the other two things, Ningqing understood that Mo Wang spoke the truth. It would be a waste to give him the none to depend on spirit technique. At least, Mo Wang couldn't use it right now. Ningqing put away the crystal ball and said, "In that case, I'll borrow the none to depend on spirit technique for now. I'll give it to you in the future. As for the brewing jade strip, I'll engrave one for you." Putting away the brewing jade strip Ningqing gave him, Mo Wang felt even more grateful. "Senior, these 2 barrels of the best none to depend on wine are my Mo clan's best. Senior, please put them away." Ningqing put away one of the barrels and said to Mo Wang, "Since these are the last 2 barrels of your Mo clan's none to depend on wine, we'll each take one. You can put away the other barrel and leave this place immediately." "Senior?" Mo Wang looked at Ningqing in doubt. He didn't understand why Ningqing wanted him to leave this place immediately. Ningqing pointed to a corner of the room and said, "This is the location of the entire Interdependence Chamber of Commerce's Starry Sky Essence Chi vein. I want to extract this Essence Chi vein. Since this Starry Sky Essence Chi vein is useful to me, I won't share it with you." Mo Wang opened his mouth wide. This Senior Chung had too much courage. After extracting the Starry Sky Essence Chi vein, could he still walk out of Mai City? "Senior, the Interdependence restaurant has many powerhouses. If you want to extract the Starry Sky Essence Chi vein, I'm afraid. Mo Wang had a lot of respect for Ningqing's expert demeanor. Therefore, he truly felt worried about Ningqing. Ningqing smiled. "You don't have to worry about me. I'll start in an hour. What you have to do now is to leave this place quickly. Otherwise, after I start, I'm afraid you won't be able to leave this place." While talking, Ningqing brought the other barrel of none to depend on wine to Mo Wang. Mo Wang once again bowed to the ground. Senior's kindness, this Mo Wang will never forget it. After saying that, he didn't stand on ceremony and put away the other barrel of none to depend on wine. After bowing to Ningqing again, he quickly left. After Mo Wang left, Ningqing started to arrange array formations. As he threw out array flags, the surrounding starry sky spirit chi grew even denser. In just half an incense stick worth of time, one end of the starry sky essence chi vein appeared in front of Ningqing. Ningqing arranged a few more movement array formations around the starry sky essence chi vein, before starting to wait. When he estimated that an hour had almost passed, he threw out the last few array flags. Celestial essence poured out and wrapped around the essence chi vein. With the help of the array formations, he finally extracted the starry sky essence chi vein. Boom boom boom. A dull roar erupted from under the Interdependence merchant house. With Ningqing extracting the starry sky essence chi vein, many of the array formations in the Interdependence merchant house lost their effects, and the beautiful Interdependence merchant house started to collapse. This kind of merchant house built on various array formations. As long as the starry sky essence chi vein was extracted, its foundation would become unstable. Someone extracted the starry sky essence chi vein. A sharp cry rang out, and the powerhouses of Interdependence Chamber of Commerce swarmed towards the Interdependence merchant house. At the same time, Duan Gantai, who was hiding in a corner of the Shui clan and arranging an array formation, suddenly felt his expression change. Even if he hid in the Shui clan, he would still be able to hear the commotion caused by the extraction of the essence chi vein. At this moment, his face turned livid with anger. As long as he had 2 more hours, he could have extracted the Shui clan's starry sky essence chi vein. But at this time, someone else wanted to do the same thing as him, and even alerted the enemy. With the starry sky essence chi vein extracted from the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce, it would be strange if other people did not focus on protecting the starry sky essence chi vein. If this father finds out who you are, this father will swallow you whole. Duan Gantai cursed while throwing out an escape talisman. Although the starry sky essence chi vein was good, life was more important. Chapter 688. Ningqing didn't know that he had ruined Duan Gantai's plans. But even if he knew, he would not hesitate to take away Maui Chamber of Commerce's starry sky essence chi vein. Not to mention that this essence chi vein belonged to the Mo clan, and was taken away by the Interdependence Chamber of Commerce. Even without Mo Wang, he would not have let go of this starry sky essence chi vein. What did he lack the most right now? Wasn't it cultivation resources? Ningqing didn't guess wrong. Interdependence Chamber of Commerce's starry sky essence chi vein had suddenly been taken away, and the Chamber of Commerce couldn't even react. Ningqing even calmly left Mai City. After leaving Mai City, Ningqing didn't go far before he sensed Duan Gantai's connecting spirit silk again. Duan Gantai, who had disappeared for half a day, finally regained contact. Ningqing understood that Duan Gantai must have gone to do something since he cut off the connecting spirit silk. Moreover, he didn't want him to know about it. Now that he restored the connecting spirit silk, it meant that he had completed his task. Ningqing also had some private matters to attend to, so he did not unlock the seal on the connecting spirit silk. Since Duan Gantai didn't want him to know about it, then he naturally didn't want Duan Gantai to know about it. However, he finally understood why Duan Gantai was so generous and gave him the address of the Temple of Time. This fellow was afraid that if he got angry he would also cut off the connecting spirit silk, and then the two would lose contact. Giving him the address of the Temple of Time had only one purpose. That is, in case the two couldn't contact each other, he could go to the Temple of Time. What a cunning thing. Not far from Mai City, Duan Gantai gnashed his teeth again. He had not guessed it wrong. If he could untie the connecting spirit silk alone, then Ningqing could also do the same. He had thought that Ningqing would agree to the connecting spirit silk so easily. It turned out that Ningqing was the same as him. Sacred Light Mountain Range, this name sounded very imposing. In fact, there was nothing here except for a barren land. Even the starry sky essence chi here was much poorer than other places. Moreover, not to mention sacred light, even ordinary sunlight would find it difficult to shine here. If it weren't for a small temple that was famous throughout the entire mysterious Yellow Starland, only a few people would know about Sacred Light Mountain. This small temple also had a majestic name, the mysterious Yellow Holy Temple. Because of this small temple, the Sacred Light Mountain Range not only became famous throughout the mysterious Yellow Starland, but also attracted an endless stream of cultivators. Its most famous time was when a mystic realm within the mysterious Yellow Starland was about to open. At that time, the Sacred Light Mountain Range was surrounded by cultivators who came to pay their respects. All the cultivators who came to the Sacred Light Mountain Range only had one thing in mind, and that was to go to the Sacred Light Mountain Range's mysterious Yellow Temple to worship and enhance their luck. However, in recent years, fewer and fewer cultivators came to the Sacred Light Mountain Range to pay their respects. The reason was not only that the mysterious Yellow Holy Temple was becoming more and more dilapidated, but also because many cultivators found that worshipping the mysterious Yellow Holy Temple did not seem to increase their luck much. Those who were supposed to fall would still fall. When Ningqing arrived at the Sacred Light Mountain Range, he did not see a single person. To be honest, Ningqing felt that the Sacred Light Mountain Range in front of him could not even be called a mountain range, but rather a small hill. Within a radius of several hundred miles around the Sacred Light Mountain Range, there was nothing but lush. It could be said that not even a blade of grass grew there. From afar, it looked like a large piece of yellow cloth dotted with a gray dot. And this black dot was naturally the location of the famous mysterious Yellow Starland's mysterious Yellow Temple, the Sacred Light Mountain Range. Even if the wind was not strong, the entire Sacred Light Mountain Range had turned into a yellow haze. It was as if a yellow haze had covered everything. As the yellow haze obscured the sunlight, it could no longer shine on the periphery of the Sacred Light Mountain Range. Ningqing put away his flight-type weapon and landed on the lush on the periphery of the Sacred Light Mountain Range. Just as he was about to sweep out with his spiritual consciousness, he was surprised to find that the yellow sky, which had been blown by the wind, had turned quiet in an instant. The yellow dust seemed to have suddenly increased and fell to the ground, as if gravity had suddenly increased. In just a few breaths, the entire surroundings of the sacred light mountain range became clear. The yellow dust disappeared, and the sunlight fell directly on the lusts of the sacred light mountain range. It felt as if someone was praying in Ningcheng's ears. Ningcheng stopped and wanted to listen carefully, but found that the voice had disappeared without a trace. Ningcheng frowned and felt a little strange. Did the mysterious yellow temple in the sacred light mountain range really have something to do with his mysterious yellow bead? Standing in place for a while, Ningcheng did not find any abnormalities, so he continued to head towards the sacred light mountain range. Ningcheng did not walk too fast. After half an incense stick worth of time, he stood at the foot of the sacred light mountain range. A strange feeling welled up in his heart, giving him a familiar feeling that was hard to describe. As Ningcheng walked up the mountain range, this feeling grew even stronger. At this moment, Ningcheng even wanted to turn around and leave. However, this strong feeling made him want to go up and have a look. After another half an incense stick worth of time, Ningcheng finally stood at the entrance of the mysterious yellow temple. The mysterious yellow temple was dilapidated, with half of the temple's eaves broken. However, a majestic and solemn feeling rose unconsciously in Ningcheng's heart. Ningcheng subconsciously stepped through the temple's door. If the outside of the mysterious yellow temple looked simple and dilapidated, then after entering, the mysterious yellow temple looked even more shabby. The entire temple was no more than 5 square meters in size. A simple, broken futon was placed in the middle. In front of the futon was a stone altar. Behind the altar was a small shrine, and in the shrine was a clay statue. Ningcheng's gaze had just fallen on the clay statue, when a buzzing sound rang out in his mind. An incomparably solemn voice rang out in his mind. He seemed to see himself standing in the middle of an endless void. Above this endless void, there was a powerhouse with boundless magic sitting on top of the clouds. Thousands of 7-colored rays of light shone down from the sky and fell on this powerhouse with boundless magic power. Countless people knelt on the ground and kowtowed in worship. Whether it was a peddler, an emperor, a general, a minister, a cultivator, or an immortal. Bye-bye. A voice rang out in Ningcheng's mind, telling Ningcheng to kneel on the praying mat and worship. Worship me, and I can grant you supreme power. Worship me, and I can grant you supreme great Tao. Worship me, and I can grant you supreme inheritance. Worship me, and I can grant you life for the universe. Worship me. At this moment, Ningcheng's entire mind was filled with worshipping, kneeling, praying, and chanting pious words. At this moment, Ningcheng's legs trembled, and a voice kept calling for him to kneel down and worship. As long as he worshipped, he could get everything he wanted. However, there was another voice in his mind, and this voice kept telling him that this was not what he wanted. Why did he not want it? Why did he become a starry sky cultivator? Wasn't it for power? Only with great power would he be able to control his own destiny. Cold sweat dripped down Ningcheng's face, and he could barely breathe under this kind of pressure. Besides worshipping, he had no other choice. No. A more tenacious thought emerged in the depths of Ningcheng's mind. The most powerful power could not be given by others, and the most powerful Tao could not be attained by others. No matter how powerful the power given to you by others was, the person who gave you the power would always be stronger than you. The Tao given to you by others, even if you could attain the supreme Tao, the person who gave you the Tao would also be more powerful than you. No matter how old the inheritance given to you by others was, it would always be after others. If others gave you life for the universe, you would only be a chess piece in someone else's hands. From the moment Ningcheng developed his own thoughts, he firmly believed that there was no such thing as a meat pie falling from the sky. It was like this in the past, it would be like this in the future, and it must still be like this now. Even if Ningcheng wanted to attain the most powerful power and attain the supreme Tao, he would have to do it through his own efforts, not through this kind of method. Gotcha. Ningcheng's leg bone broke. Even with the strength of his celestial river body, it still broke. The pressure was too terrifying, and it was getting stronger and stronger. At this time, even if the Swanee's worshipping voice grew stronger and more bewitching, It could not make Ningcheng voluntarily worship it. He was such a skeleton. If he didn't want to do something, then he would die, and he would never compromise. Ningcheng, who forcibly resisted the pressure, vaguely heard a sound of surprise, and then the bewitching voice disappeared without a trace. Instead, a more powerful force came crashing over. Ningcheng brought out the everlasting blue thunder fort and collided with the powerful force. It was like a spring thunder explosion with endless roars. In just a few breaths, Ningcheng's everlasting blue thunder fort's shadow shattered. The powerful force directly rushed into Ningcheng's sea of consciousness, suppressing Ningcheng to the point that he couldn't breathe. Ningcheng instantly understood that this was not the power of true essence, nor was it the power of celestial essence. His everlasting blue thunder fort was controlled by celestial essence and spiritual consciousness. Therefore, under this mysterious force, it simply could not resist. He had seen this kind of power before. It was the power of hope. Ningcheng immediately remembered the imperial jade seal he obtained, the imperial jade seal with the Lan Yi True Country's emblem on it, and a pale golden imperial jade seal with a bird that he couldn't recognize. When he obtained the imperial jade seal, and used the power of hope from the imperial jade seal, countless people worshipping the Lan Yi True Country's temples appeared in his mind. Because the imperial jade seal was worshipped, it obtained the power of hope. Later, he used up all the power of hope in the imperial jade seal, but the imperial jade seal remained by his side. Today he once again encountered the power of hope. This power of hope was many times stronger than the power of hope in the imperial jade seal. Boom! Ningcheng finally understood this point, when his sea of consciousness exploded, and a giant golden hand directly grabbed into his sea of consciousness. Without hesitation, it grabbed the mysterious yellow bead hidden in the depths of his sea of consciousness. The mysterious yellow bead gave out a buzzing sound, as if it could not escape. A violent external force rushed into Ningcheng's sea of consciousness. Even if Ningcheng had a starry sky sea of consciousness, he still could not bear it at this moment. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. Son of a bitch. First you want me to worship you, and now you even want to snatch my mysterious yellow bead. The anger in Ningcheng's heart erupted like 3 rivers and 4 seas. Chapter 689. Unfortunately, no matter how angry Ningcheng felt, he could not stop the giant golden hand from invading his sea of consciousness. For a long time, Ningcheng was most proud of his sea of consciousness. He had a starry sky sea of consciousness, which made him several times more powerful than cultivators of the same level. If a cultivator dared to enter his sea of consciousness, it would only be courting death. But today, someone really invaded his sea of consciousness. Even his everlasting blue thunder city could not resist it. As for the celestial river flame, Ningcheng did not intend to take it out. The celestial river flame could not even undergo nirvana, which meant that its grade was just too low. The everlasting blue thunder city's shadow continued to shatter, while Ningcheng continuously condensed it. Even so, it could only barely delay the giant golden hand. Was there any other way to stop this giant golden hand? Ningcheng looked at the giant hand getting closer and closer to the mysterious yellow bead, feeling anxious in his heart. Once he lost the mysterious yellow bead, he would have nothing left. In fact, he also knew that once the mysterious yellow bead was taken away, he would turn into powder the next moment. After taking away his mysterious yellow bead, the other party would still let him go. Even he did not believe it. The other party could only try to show off in his sea of consciousness, indicating that the owner of this giant golden hand had not condensed a corporeal body, and was just an essence spirit. Was there any way to stop this abominable giant golden hand? How could he block this terrifyingly powerful essence spirit? He had never come into contact with the power of hope, and only knew that it was a kind of power of faith. How could he resist it? Right, the Imperial Jade Seal. This Imperial Jade Seal originally stored the power of hope. If he used the Imperial Jade Seal to block the giant hand from invading his sea of consciousness, would it work? Regardless of whether it worked or not, Ningcheng had no other choice. The only thing on him that had anything to do with the power of hope was the Imperial Jade Seal. Although the true Brahma Buddha fire will also had something to do with the power of hope, It only consumed the power of hope. Moreover, its grade was still too low. Ningcheng grabbed the Imperial Jade Seal and spat out a mouthful of essence blood. Only in this way could he refine the Imperial Jade Seal faster. Even if the Imperial Jade Seal had something to do with the power of hope, he could not refine it. Initially, Ningcheng could not refine the Imperial Jade Seal no matter how hard he tried. However, the progress of the refining made Ningcheng instantly disappointed. Perhaps the Golden Hand had already shattered his starry sky sea of consciousness, and the Imperial Jade Seal in his hand had not managed to refine the first layer of restrictions. The more anxious Ningcheng was, the more he reminded himself to remain calm. As he continued to burn his celestial essence, the refining speed of the Imperial Jade Seal grew faster and faster. Catcha! A slight sound emerged, causing Ningcheng to feel happy in his heart. He had finally managed to refine the first layer of restriction on the Imperial Jade Seal. A primal chaos vague space appeared within Ningcheng's spiritual sense. Ningcheng was just about to communicate with the Imperial Jade Seal to deal with the golden giant hand of the power of hope in his sea of consciousness, when the Imperial Jade Seal suddenly disappeared from his hands, and the next moment the Imperial Jade Seal fell into his sea of consciousness. Magic treasures that could enter one's sea of consciousness on their own were not simple. Magic treasures that could enter one's sea of consciousness and still function were even more extraordinary. However, at this time Ningcheng did not have the time to be surprised about what kind of treasure the Imperial Jade Seal was, because the Imperial Jade Seal had already begun to crazily absorb the golden hand of hope that was attacking his sea of consciousness. When the golden hand of willpower was sucked in by the Imperial Jade Seal, it immediately became sluggish. But soon, more willpower poured in, and the hand of willpower moved forward again. Ningcheng still felt ecstatic in his heart. In any case, at least he found a treasure that could contain the golden hand. At this moment, he only had one thought in his mind, and that was to refine the Imperial Jade Seal like crazy. The Imperial Jade Seal suspended in Ningcheng's sea of consciousness, under the influence of the power of hope, started to refine Ningcheng even faster. This time, Ningcheng only used half the time before refining the second layer of restriction on the Imperial Jade Seal. After Ningcheng refined the second layer of restriction, the speed at which the Imperial Jade Seal absorbed the power of hope grew even faster. As a result, the golden hand in Ningcheng's sea of consciousness slowed down even more. The third layer of restriction. The fourth layer of restriction. When Ningcheng refined the 16th layer of restriction, the golden hand of willpower in his sea of consciousness completely disappeared. At this moment, the Imperial Jade Seal also completely absorbed the power of hope that invaded his sea of consciousness. It was truly a good treasure. Ningcheng, who felt the pressure on him greatly reduced, suddenly stood up. Under his control, the Imperial Jade Seal turned into a huge square seal with a radius of several dozen feet, suspended over the mysterious yellow temple. While Ningcheng refined it, it also crazily absorbed the power of hope from the temple. Hundreds of miles around the sacred light mountain range, at this moment, started to rapidly fade, from yellow to gray, from gray to black. In just the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the yellow color completely dissipated, and the black color spread to the outside of the sacred light mountain range's mysterious yellow temple. The Imperial Jade Seal gave out a buzzing sound, as if narrating a kind of carefree feeling. At this moment, a loud explosion erupted over the sacred light mountain range. The Imperial Jade Seal, which was still crazily absorbing the power of hope, suddenly paused, and Ningcheng instantly felt that the Imperial Jade Seal had stopped absorbing the power of hope. Just when Ningcheng felt puzzled, a cold voice arrived. "I will come back to take away the mysterious yellow bead. An ant like you doesn't deserve such a treasure." The Imperial Jade Seal once again fell into Ningcheng's hands, and all the pressure around him disappeared without a trace. Ningcheng opened his eyes and saw the same shrine in front of him, with the same clay statue inside the shrine. It seemed that nothing had changed, but Ningcheng felt that everything had changed. He was dripping with water, completely soaked in sweat, and there was a salty taste of blood at the corner of his mouth, which seemed to indicate that he had done something before. The broken leg bone had not fully healed, proving that his leg bone was broken and had not been knocked down. Ningcheng looked at the Imperial Jade Seal in his hand, The imperial jade seal seemed to have gained a little more vitality, and the bird he could not recognize seemed to have gained a little more intelligence. As his spiritual consciousness seeped into it, a majestic and boundless power surged through it. This power contained a kind of prayer and an indescribable whisper. Was this the power of hope? Ning Cheng had previously known about the power of hope and could use the power of hope, but he had never been able to capture the power of hope. Today he finally saw it in the imperial jade seal. Although he still did not understand the nature of the power of hope, he no longer did not understand it at all. But in any case, Ning Cheng understood that this imperial jade seal was not simple. His starry sky will had 108 layers of restrictions, and this imperial jade seal also had 108 layers of restrictions. Even if he had refined the 21st layer of restrictions, he still did not know the original name of this imperial jade seal. Putting away the imperial jade seal, Ning Cheng felt slightly relieved. The only gain from entering the mysterious Yellow Temple was that the imperial jade seal had absorbed a lot of power of hope. But because of this, he had almost died here. Ning Cheng clearly remembered the voice of the person who left. It was a kind of disdain and contempt for him. That person's tone implied that this matter was not over, and that that person would come back to take the mysterious yellow bead. Maybe it was a coincidence that the mysterious yellow temple and the mysterious yellow bead both had the words mysterious yellow in them. Maybe it was not a coincidence, but this mysterious yellow temple had something to do with the mysterious yellow bead. Whether it was a coincidence or not, Ning Cheng's desire for the wood origin bead grew even stronger. In any case, only when he obtained the wood origin bead would the mysterious yellow bead completely belong to him. Even if others tried to snatch it, he could leave a trace of his life essence in the mysterious yellow bead to escape. The wood origin bead was the thing he wanted the most right now. If there was any news about the wood origin bead, even if all 3 keys to the Temple of Time were in his hands, Ning Cheng would not hesitate to postpone it. Sweeping through the mysterious yellow temple with his spiritual consciousness, Ning Cheng determined that there was nothing else here before walking out of the temple. As soon as he stepped out of the temple, Ning Cheng saw black everywhere. The originally yellow land had turned completely black. Ning Cheng guessed that it had something to do with him absorbing the power of hope and the disappearance of the mysterious voice. Not in the mood to stay here any longer, he directly brought out the starry sky wheel and left in a flash. In the mysterious yellow starland, he had one more thing to do, and that was to find Tian Muwen. Only by finding Tian Muwen could he find the blue-robed female cultivator and take back the perpetual moontime key. The Temple of Time definitely had a lot of good things. Whether he went there or not, it was always a good thing to keep the perpetual moontime key with him. Ning Cheng also knew that even if his starry sky wheel was fast, it wouldn't be possible to search through the vast and boundless mysterious yellow starland in a short time. In fact, he couldn't even search the entire mysterious yellow starland in a year or 2. Moreover, once Tian Muwen and the blue-robed female cultivator changed their appearance, it would become even more difficult to find them. However, Ning Cheng didn't plan to look for them in the mysterious yellow starland for a year or 2. As long as he couldn't find them in a month, he would immediately leave the mysterious yellow starland. The Temple of Time was precious, but his time was equally precious. At this time, 2 middle-aged women stopped at the periphery of a forest with no end in sight. These 2 people were Tian Muwen and the blue-robed female cultivator, whom Ning Cheng was looking for. Big sister, do you think the information we got is false? If the 1,000-mound forest really has sifting fairy grass, why would it wait for us to dig it up? Tian Muwen looked at the gloomy forest and felt a little scared. The blue-robed female cultivator sighed. It's not that the 1,000-mound forest doesn't have sifting fairy grass, but can we find the sifting fairy grass? Or can we dig it up if we find it? Muwen, you can wait for me in the makeshift market outside. I'll go in alone. The 1,000-mound forest has the most powerful starry sky demonic beasts. Once we meet them, none of us would be able to escape. Tian Muwen shook her head. Big sister, I want to be with you. I have no relatives here, only big sister. If big sister is gone, it would be the same even if I die or live alone. After saying that, Tian Muwen sighed. Are you still thinking about that surname Ning? If I had known this, I wouldn't have taken his things. The blue-robed female cultivator smiled. Tian Muan remained silent for a moment before holding the pearl hair clip on her chest again, and speaking with a faint voice. Big sister, I have a feeling that when I met him last time, although he looked calm on the surface, his heart couldn't calm down towards me. But when I met him in Mai City this time, his heart seemed to have calmed down a lot. Maybe he has already forgotten about me. I think we've already brushed past each other. Chapter 690. This was already the 9th day of Ning Cheng's search. Not to mention finding any traces of Tian Muan and the blue-robed female cultivator. He had not even heard the slightest bit of news about them. Ning Cheng knew that there was no point in continuing to search like this unless his spiritual consciousness could cover the entire mysterious yellow starland. Otherwise, even if he searched for another 90 days, it would be useless. He couldn't continue searching aimlessly like this. He had to stop and think of an entry point. Since Tian Muan and the blue-robed female cultivator wanted to hide, then there were only two possibilities. One was that they had left the mysterious yellow starland. However, Ning Cheng didn't think it was possible. After helping the blue-robed female cultivator, he immediately went to the outside of the mysterious yellow starland, and didn't find the two of them leaving. Since they didn't leave the mysterious yellow starry sky immediately, it meant that they wouldn't leave after that. With the blue-robed female cultivator's cultivation and experience, she should have realized that if she left the mysterious yellow starland, someone would most likely block the exit. Even if the blue-robed female cultivator and Tian Muan wanted to leave the mysterious yellow starland, she would have to wait until her cultivation recovered. Since the blue-robed female cultivator's Zifu was damaged, if she wanted to restore her cultivation, then the only way was to find the sifting fairy grass. Previously, when the blue-robed female cultivator's cultivation was still formidable, she had almost been plotted against when she wanted to exchange for the sifting fairy grass. Now that the blue-robed female cultivator's injuries had worsened, her cultivation would definitely fall. As such, it was impossible for her to openly search for the sifting fairy grass. Since she could not openly search for the sifting fairy grass, she could only search for it herself. After Ning Cheng sorted out the whole thing, he came to the only conclusion that the blue-robed female cultivator would definitely look for the sifting fairy grass on her own. If he wanted to find the blue-robed female cultivator, there was only one way, and that was to ask the mysterious yellow starland where he could find the sifting fairy grass. As Ning Cheng thought of this, he felt slightly relieved in his heart. He should have asked where the sifting fairy grass grew, but it wasn't too late to do so now. Even if the blue-robed female cultivator knew where to find the sifting fairy grass, it would be impossible for her to find it. If the sifting fairy grass could be found so easily, it would not have been a top-grade starry sky spiritual grass. That blue-robed female cultivator would not have come to the Shui clan for a transaction. Ning Cheng was just about to bring out the starry sky wheel when he suddenly thought of something else. His heart immediately jumped and he immediately cried out in alarm. Since he could think of the blue-robed female cultivator looking for the sifting fairy grass, how could those old fogies besieging the blue-robed female cultivator not think of it? By the time Ning Cheng found the 1,000-mound makeshift market, it was already a day later. He asked many places and found out that the sifting fairy grass had once appeared in the 1,000-mound market. He also heard that the sifting fairy grass in the 1,000-mound market came from the 1,000-mound forest. The 1,000-mound rest house was the largest rest house in 1,000-mound city. After Ning Cheng arrived at the 1,000-mound makeshift market, the first place he looked for was the 1,000-mound rest stop. Without waiting for the shop assistant to come over, Ning Cheng took the initiative to walk over, took out 1,000 purple coins, handed it to the shop assistant and asked, "I heard that the 1,000-mound forest has a lot of top-grade starry sky spirit grasses, so I came here from afar to have a look. May I ask, is there such a thing?" The shop assistant, on seeing Ning Cheng's generosity, put away the purple coins with a wave of his hand. "Friend, you really came to the right place. I'm not talking nonsense. In the entire mysterious yellow starland, the 1,000-mound forest is definitely one of the most precious starry sky spiritual grasses." Ning Cheng, however, was not in the mood to slowly fish for information and directly asked, I heard people say that this place also has the sifting fairy grass. Is there such a thing? Of course. The shop assistant spoke without hesitation. Not only does this place have the sifting fairy grass, but it has also been dug up and sold in the Thousand Mound City. After saying that, the shop assistant seemed to remember something and added, by the way, a few days ago, someone came here to inquire about the sifting fairy grass. Who were the people who inquired about the sifting fairy grass? Ning Cheng's heart moved and quickly asked. 2 middle-aged women, but they were just casually inquiring about it. The shop assistant felt something wrong and swallowed the rest of the words. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to take out another 10,000 purple coins and handed it over. What else? The shop assistant looked around and found that no one was paying attention to him. He simply said, 3 days ago, someone also came here to inquire about the sifting fairy grass. Before the shop assistant could finish his words, he found that Ning Cheng had already left. He quickly put away the purple coins and went to greet the other guests as if nothing had happened. He was not a fool. 3 groups of people came here because of the sifting fairy grass, which meant that there must be a problem. This kind of thing had nothing to do with him. Ning Cheng felt a little anxious and quickly bought a few jade strips about the Thousand Mound Forest. Without thinking about anything else, he rushed towards the Thousand Mound Forest. He wasn't sure if it was the blue-robed female cultivator who first inquired about the sifting fairy grass. But he was sure that the people who came here 3 days ago to inquire about the sifting fairy grass were chasing after Tian Muwen and the blue-robed female cultivator. No matter what happened between him and Tian Muwen due to the misunderstanding, he did not want Tian Muwen to suffer any harm, let alone in this foreign land. In the depths of the Thousand Mound Forest, Tian Muwen, with disheveled hair, supported the blue-robed female cultivator as they hid in a hollow. The blue-robed female cultivator's aura grew more and more chaotic, while Tian Muwen's aura similarly grew unstable. The blue-robed female cultivator sighed. Oh, I didn't expect that I would be helpless in such a small place. No wonder my father said that my cultivation foundation is too shallow. Big sister, let's go out first. As for the sifting fairy grass, we can slowly think of a way. In our current situation, even if we find the location of the sifting fairy grass, we won't be able to take it away. Tian Muwen spoke with some worry. After experiencing these past few days, she was no longer a city girl who didn't understand anything. She also knew that high-grade starry sky spirit grasses were usually the territories of top-grade starry sky demonic beasts. From this, one could imagine that the Thousand Mound Forest also contained the sifting fairy grass in the depths of the forest. With their current strength, even if they encountered the sifting fairy grass, what could they do? The blue-robed female cultivator seemed to know Tian Muwen's thoughts. She looked at Tian Muwen and smiled. Muwen, you don't have to worry. I still have some cards up my sleeves. As long as we can find the sifting fairy grass, it doesn't matter how powerful the starry sky demonic beasts are. But right now, we can't go out at all. Why? Tian Muwen asked in doubt. The blue-robed female cultivator shook her head. You don't stay in the true cultivation world, so you don't understand the cunning of these people. I'm sure that those bastards who want my things already know that I came to the Thousand Mound Forest. On hearing the blue-robed female cultivator's words, Tian Muwen instantly understood. Since they had heard that the sifting fairy grass only appeared in the Thousand Mound Forest in the mysterious Yellow Starland, then others would definitely guess that they were in the Thousand Mound Forest. I have no choice but to come here. As long as I can find the sifting fairy grass, those people coming to the Thousand Mound Forest would only be throwing away their lives. The blue-robed female cultivator's words suddenly stopped, and her face turned ugly to look at. Then a sneer arrived. You're right. Unfortunately, you haven't found the sifting fairy grass yet. The next moment, 4 figures landed in front of Tian Muwen and the blue-robed female cultivator. Tian Muwen's face also turned pale. She had seen 2 of these 4 people before. They were the ones who besieged the 2 of them in Shui clan. According to her big sister, they were all eternal powerhouses in this place. An eternal realm expert, for her, was an unreachable legendary height. If it weren't for her big sister, these people could crush her. a cultivator who hadn't even reached the celestial Shatterer realm, with just a finger. The blue-robed female cultivator calmed down by this time. She looked at the few eternal cultivators in front of her and spoke. If I die here today, my father will come looking for me tomorrow. I can tell you that I might be able to continue living, but you won't even have a shred of remnant souls left. Ah. A tall man laughed. I, Zhu Zhengfeng, am not afraid of other people's threats. Let's talk about tomorrow's matters tomorrow. Since someone took away our Interdependence Chamber of Commerce's Starry Sky spiritual vein, I can let you go, but you have to hand over your ring first. The blue-robed female cultivator shook her head. I only have one ring, and there are 4 of you here. Who should I give it to? You want to provoke the 4 of us? You're still too naive. Ah. Zhu Zhengfeng had just spoken those words with a sneer when he suddenly screamed. The next moment his entire body turned into a faint shadow and screamed, Ing Daoqi, I won't let you go. By the time he spoke the last word, his figure had already disappeared without a trace. Almost at the same time that Zhu Zhengfeng let out a blood-curdling scream, the other old man also let out a blood-curdling scream. However, he didn't have the same luck as Zhu Zhengfeng. Just as he screamed, a flame wrapped around him. Of the 4 eternal cultivators, only 2 remained in the blink of an eye. One was a blue-robed Confucian scholar, and the other was a robust man. The blue-robed Confucian scholar cupped his fists towards the blue-robed female cultivator and spoke with a smile. You see, your provocation succeeded. Only 2 of the 4 of us remain. By the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Ing Daoqi. I was the one who established the mysterious Yellow Starland Scattered People Union. This is Taishan. You should know about my city's Tai clan. Taishan is one of the 2 eternal powerhouses of the Tai clan. I think you should know what to do now, right? While speaking, Ing Daoqi's blue robes fluttered without any wind, and a powerful imposing aura formed a whirlwind that pressed down on the blue-robed female cultivator. Although this imposing aura wasn't directed at Tian Muwen still couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood and collapsed to the ground. The blue-robed female cultivator still had her foundation intact. Although blood spilled from the corners of her mouth, she still smiled and spoke. Okay, I'll give it to you. After saying that, her hand fell on the ring. Despite the blue-robed female cultivator's severe injuries and the suppression of her cultivation to the point that it was almost non-existent, Ing Daoqi and Taishan still focused all their attention on the blue-robed female cultivator. After all, this blue-robed female cultivator was just too terrifying. She had killed 2 eternal powerhouses before. Take it. The blue-robed female cultivator gently loosened her hand, and the violent imposing aura around her disappeared in an instant. Then, a faint glimmer of light emerged from the blue-robed female cultivator's hand. Not good. Ing Daoqi and Taishan's expressions changed and immediately tried to retreat. But at this moment, the faint glimmer infected the entire space, turning it completely purple. A terrifying temperature raged in the space, wrapping Ing Daoqi and Taishan in the middle. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.